No, it makes a noise now, which is great. So
Oh, okay.
I'll hear when you guys come in. What's up, everyone?
Hello,
Welcome to the
hello.
Late Sesh.
Welcome to the Late Sesh.
My RSO kicked in, and I almost missed the
Good thing
button.
somebody it was
Nut tree.
Nuttree.
Yeah, I
It
looked
was
down.
Yeah,
I was
Nuttree.
like,
you
well,
forgot his
it's
name already.
No, I was about to give his real name. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, I do times anyways. I never call him that tree.
tree nut, whatever you want to say.
yep. Well, we got a small group for now, but we got more coming for Rolly and Red will be here because I know Red wants to talk conspiracy.
Ooh,
I
Yeah.
believe that was the plan.
What
about what?
which one specifically?
I couldn't remember. I thought about it today at work, and I was like, what were we conspiring about?
Conspiracy one.
There they are.
I got my cold brew.
There we go.
All
Hey
right.
guys.
Hey.
What's
Hello,
up,
hello.
guys?
What's red? Red's
Oh, he's
dirty
made
hand.
his own. He made his own cube.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cube.
It's super messy,
Is it?
but they
What's
say
it made out of?
cocoa and dairy dew compost and dairy dew worm castings. There's
That
some
smells
kelp,
real nice then, huh?
yeah, there's some kelp meal and some BioLive, and it's real dirty.
It looks it.
She scooches further away from him.
We used
So you-
Tooper. We used Royal Gold Tooper for the cocoa.
Okay.
We didn't have to fuck with washing it. It's a nice clean product. I would have otherwise used some Pro Mix, but then we might have had to amend with a little bit of lime. I don't know. Pro Mix might already have lime in it. I don't know, but it's just in the shed, so we decided to go bougie and use the Tooper. But yeah, it works really well. I mean, the sucker's pretty solid. With the compost edition, we filtered the compost. The Dairy Dew had some chunkies in it, a little wood chip chunky. It's not 100% cow extract, there's a little something in there. But let's see, the worm castings were nice and finely grit. And we didn't have to filter those.
Nice.
But yeah, man, and they made these suckers really nice. I don't want to get it on my weed tray, but I'm gonna wash my hands here. Yeah. Nice.
And if you
Sweet.
want the full list of ingredients, go check out their Instagram at Red Setter Farm, at Becca Meets Cannabis, or at Rosemary's Garden.
I actually have
Oasis.
Rosemary's Oasis. That's what it is. And they got the stories. Check out their stories. They got the photos up of the whole mix.
And
What's that, Red?
this is bird seed, of course. It's just a piece of bird seed. Bird seed of.
You're gonna grow a bird?
Well, I'm gonna grow a seed for birds.
That's an egg, silly.
It's a bird,
Oh,
Different kind of seed.
different kind of seed. Of course.
I'm interested to see how they keep.
So it's not a cannabis plant. This is a bird seed that I
How do you
plant.
plan on keeping them moist?
Yeah, you gonna bang out 100 and store some?
So you start it really wet. So that's how
Really
it kind
wet.
of stays together. We dumped like almost a whole gallon of water
Wow.
in each batch, and it gets like when you squeeze it, it's dripping.
It's
from
a
your
little
hands.
past field capacity. Like if you're
Yeah.
field capacity being like right about where it like starts to like squeeze out, you actually get a little bit of drip down the hand, you get a little mud juice down your wrist, and you're good.
And that keeps it together and keeps it moist to start. And then most people will bottom water them or
It's ridiculous.
Wear them on their hat
mist them.
as a hat.
You
A
just-
little
Say misting seems like a viable opportunity.
we're going to keep domes on them to keep the moisture in, probably, until they germinate, but we'll make sure that they don't dry out like crazy. You just don't want to dump water on them because it'll splash.
That's what I was thinking, that make it just go.
We have a like air compressor, not air compressor, but like a little pump sprayer, little pump sprayer. So like, if you'd like set it to that setting where it's like sort of raining, it'll be enough because you still need to saturate it. You don't want it to go hydrophobic on you where it's only wet at the top when you're watering. You want to keep it wet on the bottom. So eventually we'll probably like find a little corner and like pour water into the corner and like let it bottom water so to speak. Once they get roots to establish a little bit of a skeleton in there, it won't
They'll
be as
hold
bad.
it
They'll
pretty
hold it
good.
together. And we'll
I
be
think
able-
you guys should just get a small, like maybe 1/4-inch hose and just create a siphon out of a bucket, and you can just siphon it right into the bottom of the tray. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That way there's like low flow. I don't know. I'm just thinking low and slow constantly. You know what I mean? I the spray bottle probably work real easy. It's just you guys are gonna have forearms like Popeye by the end of it. You know?
I'm afraid
Yeah.
spray bottles just they don't seem to saturate well. You know, you always think that they give you enough water, but it's just hydrophobic and it's really just
Mhm.
around the sides and it's not really.
Or
doing the
just
thing.
getting those top roots. I recently started growing some dill just in our by the house plants, and it was not doing well. And as soon as I bottom watered one time, they blew up. So just
Holds its
never
integrity sideways. All the
never doing
weights,
good.
all the weights like
Nice.
in the top. You know, so
What have you weighed that yet?
weighed this. No,
Yeah. I'm curious to know like how much. I know it's very saturated, but I'm
I
curious.
tell you that. I tell you that from what we normally use in like
It's heavy.
a 72
2 pounds. 2
L tray,
pounds.
we're using 2 to 3 times as much starting units. This
This is heavy.
tray is
What
like
do you mean?
that's like 2 gallons worth of material.
Did
It's-
they send that? Did you get that tray all together? That came with your package?
No,
No,
we-
it's just a tray.
Clone trays.
those are
10 by
clone
20.
trays that we use.
Oh, okay. It looked metal. That's why I wasn't sure.
Oh no, they're just the
Yeah.
black.
Okay, just the sheen. Okay, I thought it was metal. All right, gotcha.
It's like a super sprouter.
I've got like half of it planted with marigold right now. I got to do the rest.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, specifically the 1020 trays we're using are the ones that have a little bit more rigidity to them.
Yeah, the super sprouters.
yeah.
I just ordered a shit ton because I can't deal with the flimsy.
Yeah, that's what we used last year, and we've got them sitting
every
outside
month-
in a shed,
Yeah.
trying to hide from the UV so that we can hopefully use them again this year. But yeah, those things are flimsy, and the second they,
Yeah.
they're sitting in the sun all day as it is. That's what they're supposed to be doing, but they're just
Yeah.
not made
a
for
little
it.
crack on the side, and all of a sudden they're done.
Yeah, it falls apart.
Yeah.
Same deal with those seed cells, and that's kind of why I went with this route, for starting, because we have so many seed cells sitting around, and like I reuse them as much as I can, and eventually they just break apart, and then I keep collecting them from the greenhouses and shit. And I need an excuse to stop collecting those fucking things. I need to not even need them. You know what I mean? And I think this is so far a good excuse to start purging.
Manual labor is the reason. That's the reason you're going to stop using those.
is the answer. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a little bit more of a friendly product, because what'll happen is the plant won't begin to corkscrew its roots. It won't get root bound right away. It'll actually air prune itself, similar to what you'd get in like a fabric pot, so to speak. Or if not air prune, it'll just continue to grow into its neighbor's root things. Some so when you pull it out, the roots will be just dangling out and pull
What
apart.
what what would you say percent compost did you put in there?
Okay, if I was
Seeds,
to use a pre-mix 7-to-1 ratio cocoa to perlite, which is what Tupper is. Okay, Tupper is like your basic like 7-to-1. I wanted to add more perlite to the end, but again, I didn't go digging in the shed. So my ratio is 1-to-1 with the pre-mix Tupper, okay, which is cocoa. We'll just call it cocoa. All right.
Yeah.
1 cocoa to compost, and then add perlite. Usually it's like a 1-to-1-to-1, right?
Oh, so this might be hot. Hot.
I don't know. We'll see. But the way I did the compost is dairy dew. It was so for that one part, okay, we'll call it one part, is 3/4. Is it be 3-to-1 dairy dew to worm castings.
Okay.
So I'll cut down the dairy dew a little bit with some worm castings. But the worm castings might, be hot. But either way, that's kind of my go-to for starting seeds is usually a 1-to-1. cocoa.
I've never planted directly into worm castings, and the only reason
No.
why is because the bags of worm castings that I buy say do not transplant directly into worm castings. But that's like the only reason, you know what I mean? I don't use them too often. I've only got maybe a year and a half worth of experience. So, but yeah, I've been top dressed in the last 2 days with it.
So some of those though, you're gonna do vegetables or something, right? Or are those cannabis you're prepping for?
These are all vegetables.
Mostly vegetables.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So like, see, I don't. Yeah, maybe vegetables don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that they might care, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's what
I've
I'm
always-
curious because
I'm,
if
I'm
it's
new to using
successful,
Dairy Dew.
they're gonna have tons of food to eat for a
Yeah.
while, and
I'm new
they'll
to
be able to get huge
It's-
off of that block.
So we'll see how hot the Dairy Dew is. But I did add some kelp meal and some BioLive, and so we'll see. Green Sands, part of the recipe. If you go off the Elliot Coleman recipe, he wants you to use peat and lime, green sand, either coarse sand or perlite. Coarse sand being, if you can get some like heavy metal free play sand or something like that, go for it. But like mainly, I mean, it's basically the same thing, except we use cocoa instead of peat moss. And then because we're using cocoa, we don't necessarily need the lime. And then we're using perlite instead of a coarse sand or anything. And instead of green sand, which is another fancy word for kelp,
Okay.
kelp powder.
I didn't know that.
It's using kelp meal. I like those down to earth products. I don't know if it's the packaging that turns me on or what.
Is that those rectangular boxes like cereal turns you on?
Does it for him.
Yeah, it's like a little
We
cereal.
were talking about those yesterday with my buddy, and you know what I wish they had was lobster. Lobster.
I think they do.
compost.
They do.
They have crab. They have crab,
meal or something, I think.
and they
They have
have.
crab and oyster for
an
sure, and
oyster.
they have lobster. They have lobster meal.
Yeah.
Okay. We weren't sure, and that's pretty neat because I want to see what that does.
You know, I actually I was looking at these this week when I picked up my most recent, or this past week, I guess, when I was picking up my most recent yard of Michigan mediums that we talked about yesterday, and I needed some of the Bloom like top dress organic powder mix, if you will, that I get. And right next to it, of course, is all those boxes. And it's just this giant row of, 18 different boxes. I don't know. They have a ton of different products. I'm looking at it all, and I'm just like, I'm not ready to make the switch, but maybe one day we'll kind of dial in the recipe.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things with like that raw, like some of these other nutrients. I mean, dare I even say advanced nutrients, that they just have this massive lineup, and it's like it almost becomes overwhelming, and if you're just trying to look at specific things,
you're thinking of it wrong. What it is you have to go this approach. So like for me, or for them, I use their product, BioLive. So they have a product called BioLive, which is kind of an all-in-one. It's kind of like your 20-20-20 if you're going MPK. And you can use that as a reamendment after you harvest, and it kind of is your meat and potatoes and covers everything. What all those multiple boxes are for is how you treat a deficiency or how you address like plants that need a little bit of extra of one thing. So you don't use all those boxes all at once. It's just in those special occasions you pull that tool out of your tool chest and you're like, all right, I can put some potassium in now because this plant uses potassium at this time. Or
it's just a giant tool chest to build, man. Like that's what the overwhelming part of it for me. It's like man, I just like.
But really, it's not that. If you have the BioLive, then that's really all you need. And then if you want to get fancy, you get one thing. Okay, maybe you'll get like a calcium product, like a gypsum. You know what I mean? And then you'll play with that, and then you can pick up. Okay, well, I'd like to have some kind of a bloom booster. So what's a bloom booster traditionally? And then you just find those things and you start playing with them and figure out what works best in your spot. It's kind of fun to me.
The reamendment.
I just started with Coots recipe or whatever it is, and then
the
go
Cornell
from there.
mix.
Well, because like he's got a mineral and mix and everything, and you could literally just go buy Down to Earth and copy it. Make your own and then go from there or something. If you just don't know what anything does, That's a pretty good mix. 30, 33, 33, 33. But
Well, there's tons of examples of that too. I mean, depending on
yeah,
what company
that's just the one I use. But
Mhm.
yeah, go find a recipe. Start with that,
if you
and
want
then
to
you'll
order something
find out what
online,
your
I would look
plant
at Build a
needs.
Soil
Right.
because that guy
Yeah, yeah,
is like diligent on all his sources.
So
yeah.
the reamendment thing is what I want to talk about because that's one of the things I was looking at from the brand I buy is they have a like I guess just a reamendment. I think it's called biochar or something like that, and it's for reamending your soil. Now I started reading the directions on it because we've talked about this so much, and you know I am continually throwing root balls outside. I even took 8 more out today, and you know, I want to reuse it, but I don't want to reuse it as is. I want to reamend it, so I'm getting some, you know, a little bit more value out of it. The biochar or whatever I was looking at was like, granted, I don't know how expensive the bag was, but I think it said 16 ounces per like 10 gallons of soil or something like that. So I'm kind of looking at this thing like, I mean,
It's not a nutrient really product. It's like carbon and a home for microbes. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully they've charged it with something, the biochar. What I mean by that is soaked it in maybe a nutrient solution or a big beneficial microbe solution to kind of pre-charge it, because otherwise it's like a sponge and it's gonna pull that shit out of your soil if you mix
There's
it in
one
there.
brand that's like reputable. I know of. It's like Owl, and they make really good biochar. But for Growly, have you looked into like One Shot? Is
heard
that
of
what
it.
you're
I
kind
haven't
of
looked
talking
into it.
about?
Yeah,
No.
that's what he just like any of these products that we've been talking about
Yeah,
would
it's
be
Mhm.
your solution. Like Craft Blend is what I use
yeah.
from Build a Soil, or I used to use BioLive from Down to Earth. But all of these things, One Shot from, is it, who makes One Shot? Fox Farm?
No, Nectar for the
Oh, Nectar of
Gods.
the Gods.
I like that one because it goes on sale. I got that giant fucking bag for like $60. I'll put, and it's one amendment. You're done.
Yeah.
But I forget. It's all kinds of stuff. It tells you what it is on the bag.
I all I know is like I got these I've got basically 2 full 1-yard soil bags full of root balls and more on the way, and I think I'm just gonna take like either a drill with or maybe actually you know what I might take like a an ice fishing auger and just like mix it up in the bags, you know, break up the root balls and just dump a bunch of amendment in there and then kind of go from there in terms of filling pots. But yeah, I don't know. I want to do something. I don't want to just use it as is because I know, you know, the plants I'm growing, they're sucking the nutrients out. I'm telling you, like the soil's got to be fairly depleted by the end of the grows. Now, granted, I am up potting to 20 gallons at this point, but that's maybe only half the room at this point as well. So we'll see. I want to reuse the soil. What was that, Nutri?
Use your snow thrower and run it over.
I just have a plow, but I mean that would probably work somewhat well, I guess.
You might ruin a snow thrower there as well.
Yeah. Actually, you can rent like wood chippers and shit. We actually thought about doing that years and years ago when we had cocoa root balls. We just didn't know what to do with them. We just started stacking them up outside, you know, and it got to the point where like we should probably like rent a wood chipper and just rework this back into the soil or something because this is an absurd amount of cocoa root balls. I don't know what like the commercial facilities are doing with them. I'm sure they have like some level of waste management that takes care of it, but
They throw them away, man.
Yep, we can throw them away in a big dumpster, and somebody comes and grinds it all up and takes it somewhere.
yeah.
We need to.
All
Use it
ground
up
up.
something.
Sometimes they even just grind up. If you use fabric pots, they'll even grind up the fabric pots with it. So,
Shred it.
yeah. But literally, we'd like dump out 500 pots into a dumpster, but we would actually like dump out and save our pots. We kept all our pots. We washed them. So it was some stuff being reused, so not everything was being thrown out.
Tell you what, washing pots will give you forearms like Popeye too, man. I've been doing a lot of that lately, and like
Holy shit.
I don't mind the 1 gallons as much as I hate the 10 gallons lately. I thought it was
washing
like
pots is worse than trimming.
I thought they're all the same, but something about 10 gallons really just kills me.
It does. It kills your nut.
Takes forever.
I think if I had a big facility, like let's say Freedom, and I had to wash a lot of pots, I would get a dishwashing machine. like at a restaurant where
Yeah,
you
we used
could
to talk
send them
about that when
through.
we were standing there washing fucking pots.
Yeah, I just don't think.
Talked
I
about
think
that, the little,
mittens
like-
right at that level where it's like you could, but it'd probably be like not needed.
Yeah.
Whereas you
Talked
go
about-
any bigger, yeah, get one of those and send them through.
You know, at the bar, they have those little washers that you stick your cups on top of it, and it just sprays the water up. And
Yeah.
you know, they do have big industrial ones, and we like as employees, we all talked about. We're like, do you think we can slide this by him and see if we can get us one? Because literally, we would spend days upon days washing pots.
Yeah,
Oh,
it sucks.
jeez.
It's like the worst. I mean, it's worse than trimming. Easily worse than trimming.
It's way worse.
I don't mind
Because,
it.
you know, when you're using salts, you have to.
All right, I got a
scrub
job
off
for you,
with
Baked. How
salt.
much you charge per hour?
Yeah.
Oh well. I don't think you're gonna like that.
I bet you I could at
Uh,
least match what you're getting at your
Let's have a
whatever you call it.
I'll invite you
W2
all
job.
over to my place, and we'll see who can wash the best, the
Oh,
fastest.
shut up.
You get a sticker. It's a smile or a star.
I'll buy you a pizza or something.
Shit, I'll buy you a pizza and a case of beer. Like, let's go.
What do you wash with? You got a nice sink? That's the thing.
Dude, I got a
yeah.
two-tier stainless steel sink with
Wide and deep.
platforms on both sides.
Oh,
It's deep and
so-
wide. It's not a
And
three.
you got a sprayer? You got a good sprayer?
Yeah, I got a
Really-
sprayer. I got a high
That's all
pressure
you need.
3-nozzle sprayer.
all
I
you
got
need.
a big
Makes me
old.
so
A
sad.
10 gal, you get a couple swirls in, you hit the size,
I got those big kitchen.
flip it
mats that let
over,
the water
you hit
drain
every
through it.
hole.
Yeah,
Flip,
I got
just while
every
you're
brush
spinning, you hit every hole.
imaginable.
No, all you need is green scrub pad.
So not even.
No, no.
not
All you
even
need to do
the
is fucking
big
cut down
one.
your plant, re-amend. You don't have to wash any fucking
Well, yeah,
pots.
I understand why you're washing with
and keep
organics.
going.
Yeah, you need to be reusing that. Just rip
Don't get the little
rip that
skinny-
stalk out and go.
thicker one, and it's got bigger like scrub heads on it, and it gets a nice rough head off of it. It really scrubs a lot better than the real skinny ones. Those 3M green ones. Get the thick ones, not the skinny.
Oh, yeah.
The
we-
thicker
we-
ones
yeah.
work best.
I have to have like 3 different types of scrubbing utensils because we also
Mhm.
got the risers and the trays. You know,
Oh
so
yeah.
if it's all,
Ri-
I got the little
Like,
toothbrush
like,
ones.
The
Oh.
risers are the
big
worst.
ones, the
I
The
can
toilet
never-
risers and the
ones.
trays, but our moms sit for like months, you know. So
Yeah.
there's so
Fuck it.
much salt buildup. It's ridiculous. But the pots aren't too bad.
Hot water is like the only thing that's gonna break that down before you do it, you know. And like, you know, what grow room's got like a massive hot water tank?
Yeah, what are you gonna
sitting there?
soak them in a pool? Yeah,
Yeah.
like we would have to.
I'll do dunks and stuff. I've talked about that, doing like bleach dunks or sanidate dunks or something like that. But like, you still gotta brush it. Like, there's root material, there's soil. Like, it's just, you gotta brush it.
You
It
have to.
sucks.
sucks. I hate
We,
I
it.
got a couple tables
Yeah.
for power wash.
Or you can just harvest your plant.
Okay,
re-amend
this
it,
guy over here.
plant it, and never wash another pot.
we don't have a good working deep sink at the farm, unfortunately, yet. And dude, we had to. Well, my go-to since starting has been to just create my own triple sink by using fucking plastic totes. So I just fill up totes on the ground with bleach water.
Yeah,
Get to scrubbing. You
It's
know
the
what I mean?
worst.
It's the fucking worst, but that's how I do it. I soak
I
every
did that outside last year.
So we
Yep.
bring them home. I
We've done
like
that outside in the cold. I remember it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
use
The hot water was awesome when it was cold outside.
Oh, I remember freezing out in the garage at Freedom Green. We're totally enclosed and everything, but shivering out there with the water, scrubbing pots for days. And thousands of pots I scrubbed. It's awesome. I'm glad I did it. It built character.
The worst part that I had to bitch on it was pulling the pots apart, the dirty pots apart,
Oh,
and then
Oh,
not cutting
yeah.
the fuck out of yourself doing it.
you know what?
Oh, I used to cut the fuck out of my hands so much.
And I would like shimmy them.
These are hardened fingers now.
Yeah,
I don't want to
for
know
real.
what you've been doing.
That or a
They don't
Yeah.
get cut
Yourself.
from the pots anymore.
He's got them Skeletor, like the real long fingers.
He's like-
He's going places.
Like the left hand is brand new and subtle. But his right hand is like
very callous.
They're equal.
Oh, there you go.
You gotta hook the pot.
Dude, on top of cleaning pots for cannabis, this is always the time of year I'd have to go into the shed, and then I would always start grabbing my seed starting trays and start grabbing all my little 6 cell fucking sprouters and everything, and I'd bring them out in the fucking house and start cleaning those fucking things too. And I'd sit in front of the fucking sink for an hour with the fucking hose, wiping those things out and getting sprayed in the face, wet t-shirt for fucking days. You know what solves that problem? Fucking soil blocks. Now I'd fucking go get those things and waste a fucking afternoon and go cleaning fucking seed cell tray.
Or
Yeah,
Nutripods.
that looks totally clean. Those cell blocks.
That's true. You do have to, yeah. But hey,
So-
I think washing your hands is a bit easier than washing pots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude, and then I was even washing my hands in some RO water, and then we fed the
what?
yeah, just like a pitcher. That pitcher that I was was watering and shit. That was my dirty hand water.
Used all those stuff
All the
and
good
house plants.
dirty houseplant water. Yeah, and you just take the hose for the RO, filler upper, and just rinse off the hands into a reservoir container and water your.
Here, have some weed.
I need weed, guys.
Here, have
Yeah,
some-
I like that idea. I'm gonna take a dab.
A short circuit.
Oh,
We're
man.
starting hash time early.
What Red? We forgot what conspiracies we're supposed to talk about.
From yesterday, we talked. We
yesterday,
got all
yeah.
excited about whatever we're gonna talk about
Was
today.
it
I remember now. It was
contamination?
Bob Weir. Remember?
Oh,
Bob
yeah.
Weir.
I said that. I said that at work today, and nobody had any idea who that was.
Well, that's not surprising to the people you're
Right?
talking to.
Isn't he pretty famous?
Not,
I was
not
like,
amongst, not
They go,
amongst.
they go, are you
people
talking about
you
Bob
This
know.
YouTube
Dylan?
channel.
I said not Bob Dylan.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
Bob Weir. I swear to God.
Those guys at work do not listen to any kind of that kind of
Okay,
music.
well that would make sense. Yeah.
Well,
Most people don't know who's in the Grateful Dead. They might have heard of it, but they don't know
Oh.
the members, especially,
Everybody
whatever.
know Jerry Garcia was in the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir's done a handful of side projects aside from the Grateful Dead. He's done his own thing with Ace, Rat Dog, Kingfish.
Those were even smaller.
Small little bands. I'm not sure how many other bands he was probably in, but anyways, I think I guess we'll get into conspiracy that I was referencing later. But the Bob Weir conspiracy? When was that?
No, that wasn't the conspiracy. We just
there
had
is
to
a Bob
remind
Weir.
you what happened.
There's a Bob
Um,
Weir conspiracy. Oh, Bobby and the Midnights. There we go, Dr. Lee Alone. Thank you. Forgot about
Somebody.
right now he's in Wolf Brothers. Bob Weir, Wolf Brothers. Oh, he's in the Campfire Band. Can't forget
Just
about the
finish your
fucking
hit.
Campfire Band. Oh,
No, we were talking like contaminated waters
no.
and things.
Barton Theater, 1977. Grateful Dead played a show. Supposedly it was the greatest show. I wasn't alive yet. This is 8 years prior to my existence.
That was before I was born, man.
Before you were born. It was in May, so almost exactly 8 years, just shy of 8 years. 1977, Barton Hall, Cornell University. Grateful Dead plays a fucking phenomenal show. One of the best shows ever recorded, according to many Deadheads. Had the cleanest audio recording tapes. It was still during the recording sessions. This is still during the Godshaws on the keys, and I think Donna's still in there. But with them, it had to have been a good show because they were always like falling asleep at the wheel. So the conspiracy goes like this. Supposedly, the Grateful Dead claim to have never played this show. And millions of, maybe not millions, but thousands, tens of thousands of fans remember being at the show. They remember the set list. They remember the smell in the air, or was it chemicals in the air? Some say that it was possibly cardboard cutouts on stage or even holograms. They were actually playing the show. Years and decades later, the band remembers the show all of a sudden, but for decades, the band didn't remember the show. They had never played the show. Supposedly, it was part of another Grateful Dead psyop. MK Ultra in the mid 60s was a psyop that was using LSD on Medi students and probably all over the nation, all over the world. were some 30 to 60 different co-operations under MK Ultra and utilizing different psychoactive substances, not just LSD. Are they plethoras? Who knows? Some of these substances, in my opinion, are probably have become food preservatives. And the like, you know what I mean? So and so here we have the
Like
great
blue raspberry.
yeah, exactly.
Like blue raspberry, man.
You think that's LSD?
Yeah, well, a like substance.
I got a
So
lot
in the mid
I think
'60s,
some more blue ras.
the Grateful Dead was kind of one of the unbeknownst, I think, to them. I don't think they really knew about it, but kind of because of the crowd that they sort of got intermingled with accidentally. Story goes, Bob Weir got on the bus, and then it began. So he gets on the bus. Neil Cassidy's behind the wheel of the further bus, and he jumps on the further bus at the parking lot of, it might be Wonderland, I think, in California. Jumps on the bus at a Beatles concert. He's at a Beatles concert. He's in the parking lot. He gets on the bus. Neil Cassidy's at the wheel. Neil Cassidy's really good friends with who rode on the road, Kerouac, John Kerouac, and so you got Kerouac's on the bus and all these dudes. These are all famous beatniks from the time that were out and about and, you know, doing the rebel cause. And well, they just so happen to also have just like plethoras of LSD. They were on the road to go meet up with people like what's his name, Timothy Leary, like Harvard, and do that whole fun little kubang and do all that. So anyways, throughout some whole networking fiasco, Timothy Leary, the CIA, and the Grateful Dead kind of commingle unbeknownst to the Grateful Dead. And though you have the acid tests.
How did they? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where the the Grateful Dead sometimes were supplying some of the LSD through their engineer, Osley Stanley Bear, was a excellent chemist and learned the ways of manufacturing LSD. But some of that LSD in the early days was coming through the Timothy Leary pipeline, which a lot of people speculate was the CIA pipeline. So it's been formed.
Is that even speculation anymore?
No, it's pretty much like, I don't know if the word's fact, but like, yeah,
like all but confirmed, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's all documented in some FBI files or something.
Yeah, it's all been released now.
It's all released.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just out there.
So the Grateful Dead parties early on were, not so much conspiracy, but yeah, that kind of stuff was going on. And then later on, through the evolution of the band and the subculture, their sound engineer learned the art of creating LSD, and then they themselves became, this almost like band that was able to perpetuate itself because of that substance, because of the money that was created from it and the like, because the band couldn't get recording contracts. The band itself couldn't stay coherent and, as a group enough to like keep producers or keep managers that were doing people like the Rolling Stones, like people like the Rolling who were doing they needed people who had some sort of like at least drive to like sit in the studio and do shit. These guys wouldn't show up to the studio. They just wouldn't do shit. They would be like late to the airport. They wouldn't make it to London on time. You know what I mean? So no managers would work with them. So they kind of had to pedal their own way around the country and do their own gigs. And so they never really had hits that you would hear on like record. They had records, but they weren't making it top 40 because they didn't have the publishers to do it, publicists to do it. What they had was their own, underground following, and through the subculture, hippie culture, had the largest audiences, and they literally broke pavilions and stadiums and crashed them down and broke subflooring. I think Wonderland was one of those. Gate crashers were a real common thing at their shows. They were always telling people to move back because people were getting crushed in the front row, like overcapacity, you know, a lot of wild stuff. A lot of their music is out there via cassette tape. They allowed tapers for a really long time, up until the 80s, when their producers, they started actually getting some hits, and they had to kind of put an end to that. But yeah, dude, there's a couple random conspiracies that go on through that, but the main one that happens at Cornell University in 77. Some say it was a psyop. There was LSD in the air. Some claim there was a lot of other things going around. There's documented evidence of this, of like actual 50-gallon drums of liquid being like, here's a cup, here's a cup, here's a cup. And like the documentation of like Bear standing around the drum pouring in like a kilo of crystal
It's
is
all
just
been videotaped.
phenomenal. I mean, you watch Bear just pouring this kilo of crystal and you just see this cloud smack him in the face, and it's like, oh boy. You can't imagine like what he had to immediately experience right at that moment, and then that entire drum goes off to the crowd. But that's not even the conspiracy. That's not even this Cornell 77 time. Supposedly the band wasn't even there, and supposedly at that same time, this is weird, and I find this one a little bit far-fetched, but supposedly Bob Weir, his consciousness split into half in this moment and created the subspecies who was born in this 1977 time frame, was John Mayer. And then they found each other in 2014 or whenever, and John Mayer finally joined the Grateful Dead.
That's a wacky conspiracy.
And that's the wacky conspiracy
Oh.
that John Mayer and Bob Weir are the same person.
Well, ours isn't quite as good, but our last guest, is her name Rachel? I keep forgetting her name.
Oh, Rachel had a Bob Weir conspiracy. Sweet.
Yep, it's
But
Rachel
she-
from Roots.
Yeah, but she, for one, her facility can test psilocybin, so it could test levels. So you could bring that stuff in and get it tested and get the actual test results on it, which I think is awesome. For two, she's works with people that when Bob Weir came to town recently, he well, not him himself, but his guy was out shopping around Ann Arbor for some shrooms.
Oh, right on.
So I just thought, how cool would it be if you were that person that was able to supply those to Bob Weir? Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
Well, which Bob Weir is the question?
Hopefully Bob Weir not.
He's split into two.
surprised that
Not
they
Bob Weird.
Bob Weird.
I'm surprised they don't have like an onboard cultivator or something.
Hey, now we're all weird.
Is you know, do you
Probably easier not to have to travel until it gets a little easier to travel across borders with it. But I
yeah,
guess it's still legal across the nation as long as it hasn't been picked. So yeah, why wouldn't you just have it in fucking?
Did you
Well,
know the guy?
well, there's so many buses, right? There's so many people traveling in the band, you know. So like, there's just like there's the band, and then
And
there's
it's like a
like
legal place. Maybe it's just like, let's check it out.
yeah,
Go get some.
yeah, that's possible. That's what I'm thinking, is that they were searching out Ann Arbor for that reason. There's a couple of advertising spots, man. There's people that advertise it, phone numbers and all. You know, it's like the 2008 days of the cannabis industry. You know, they're probably selling stickers and giving you free mushrooms. It is decriminalized to the point. Well, I think decriminalized is still the wrong word to use. It's what, less than
Least priority.
least priority offense. It's a less than punishable offense or some shit like that. I think jaywalking holds a stricter penalty than.
I don't believe in jaywalking. I think that's
Yeah.
shit.
I don't either. I just do it.
We don't need babysitters to tell me when to cross the street.
Oh, that's all you.
That's absurd. No, I don't.
Yeah, I want to see I want to see how well that goes for you when you tell the judge that. Hey, look, I don't believe in it, so I'm good. I don't need a
I've
babysitter.
jaywalked several times. Nothing happened.
Hey, I sped
That's
a
like
lot.
that's like that.
I've
You're
also
not. You're
jaywalked
supposed
a
to use your
lot.
turn signal. How many people out there don't?
I agree, man.
Do
And
they ever
all
get?
those
You
things.
ever hear somebody getting pulled over for it? Hell no.
Yes.
They ain't gonna stop you for jaywalking.
Okay, I've been stopped for it. when
I
was
don't know.
younger.
Here in a rural town, you might be pulled over for it or
I was
stopped.
just saying,
because
in
they start
Stockbridge,
profiling you.
in
You're rural.
Stockbridge,
I definitely think
Oh.
rural. You're not getting stopped
Maybe
for
not.
it.
Maybe profiling isn't the right word. They're just watching everybody because they got nothing else better to
I'm
do.
like, I'm
Right.
crossing the road that has 2 cars go by it every hour. I think I'm fine wherever I cross it.
Yeah, that goes
Thank
really
you.
well. That goes really well with cops. Then they say, "Oh, you're right. Yep," and that's what happened. They turn around and get back in their car and just let you go. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, they're not gonna get me. I'm gonna run. Chong. Jaywalk and run. Oh, oh, oh. Can't help you, sir. Gotta go this way.
This is fucked up. It's
But I
fucked.
don't understand that. Why would you have to get locked up in a cage
That's what I'm saying.
because you didn't stay within their lines that they decided you need to walk through, even though
Right.
you know how to look left and
Yeah.
right since you were 2.
Yeah.
I wasn't
wanna walk
agreeing
on
or
the
But
disagreeing,
that's what I'm
man.
saying. It's our duty to not follow bullshit laws.
I agree with you.
If
So
they don't provide a
you
sidewalk
should
anyway,
jaywalk.
of course,
Everybody should
walk out
jaywalk.
the grassy with nails and needles and shit. They got the grass easement with nails and needles. Where's the fuck, dude?
Yeah. What's gonna be your opinion, Baked, when somebody jumps out in front of your car? You gotta slam on your brakes and wait for them to cross the front of
Here's
the
what
road.
they got. You're more.
Why
You're
would
gonna be
they
like,
jump out?
you're gonna be like, look,
have
the
it-
fucking crosswalk is up there. Why are you fucking?
Dash cam. No, what are
Do
you
I look
talking
forward
about?
to
What are they like 3 feet tall?
Yeah.
Like, I watch when I drive, and they should watch when they cross. Why would they? Why would you look? Why would you look and say, "Oh, the car's getting closer. Car's getting closer. I'm gonna walk out now." That's not how you
Well,
cross the
maybe-
street.
Do you
I'm
think
not
it's
talking
possible
about.
that? Do you think it's possible that you might be driving faster than the speed limit, and they might be thinking you would be
I'm
driving
talking
the
about.
speed
I'm
limit?
talking
If
about a
they
perfect
charge the
scenario
speed-
where I'm going the speed limit.
I've never seen that scenario in my life, man.
That's horseshit. That's horseshit. I go the speed limit all the time. You have to go to the speed limit at some point to get past it.
Okay, let me see. The last trip I was with you, I believe, you're like, oh yeah, I was going about 90 miles an hour back there.
We made such good time, though. We made such good time. That was picking up
We
CO2
did.
tanks.
But we were bitching about the fucking gas mileage. And we're like, oh, that's why.
Well, it was still really good gas mileage. It's a hybrid, so I'm still
Were you
pretty
going
much
90
giving back.
or after the tank pickup.
Oh no, we almost ran out of gas because on the way back, I looked down. And I went, God dang! It says 18 miles left.
Yeah.
Because you were going 90.
Yeah, and I went.
Yeah, we figured that
I
out.
felt like I had more than half a tank, and yeah, it was because I was flying on the way there. We're just.
We were just shooting the shit and fucking.
Either way you go, you still have the same distance, right? You can't change the distance, point A to point B.
Exactly.
But your RPMs will change the amount of fuel you consume. So
They don't show my RPMs anymore.
even if
What?
you
It doesn't have an
my car
RPM on it?
you're in a quicker amount of time,
Oh,
you're gonna use
wow.
more gas because you
I
use
think
more.
because it uses battery and motor, it's like it would have to show you that. I don't
you
know.
don't save gas by going
Oh.
fast.
You know what it also doesn't show you?
More gas.
Heat like thermometer on. You know how you have like a radiator thermometer?
Yeah.
Doesn't have one of those. Says, well,
Oh,
how do
that'd
I
make
know
me
if my
nervous.
car's overheating?
Yeah.
There's still a whole motor in there, but it's weird, man.
Digital? What's that all about? Dude, I drive
Yeah,
a
it's all
stick.
digital.
I drive a stick and they didn't provide me with a tachometer. It's a fucking digital tachometer.
What?
But I
That's
have
what I'm
analog-
saying.
I have
Like,
an analog speedometer. Figure that one out. I have an analog speedometer and a digital tachometer. I also have a digital speedometer that I don't use so because everything's digital, I don't even use the analog speedometer.
yeah,
Uh,
that's weird.
completely
Yeah,
forgot.
they do weird stuff. It's like, who did you talk to?
Where's it? I just want a regular tack, dude. I don't like.
Yeah,
the-
I want all my. I never. No, I don't. I
Oh
didn't have
my
any complaints about the meters.
It's because every little thing in every little car has a different engineer assigned to it. So like the rear window on your Dodge Challenger, right, has an engineering team designed to that specific part. And then a whole nother engineering team is designed to the steering wheel, right? And like you just have like all these essentially
They don't talk.
well, right. It's kind of like a government. What's the word for that? Compartmentalization or whatever.
Yeah.
and they
And
don't.
you know,
talk
of course,
mechanics.
someone's in charge of it all, but ultimately, yeah,
They took away lighters in cars As if weed wasn't gonna get legal. Come on.
Hey, dude. Hey,
What I think was
I might,
fun
I
is
might
had
be on a
I still
camping
had the
trip and I
socket.
need to park and use my lighter in my car to light a
hey, dude,
joint.
I just went online and just bought one of them little fuckers for $5, or maybe it was even.
Yeah.
Oh, that you plug in.
I have one.
Yeah.
Right, it just
Box,
works
so
in
I
the
can
same
use that
charger.
fucker because I have 3 of those little ports now. Those little like charging stations are popular in cars now. They
Yep.
take lighter out of it, so now I have one in my cab and my truck. I can just sit in the back tailgating, and I have a little lighter port right next to the fucking sitting on the tailgate portion. You can sit on the tailgate portion,
You
push
want
in
to
the
hear
little hot
something
thing.
crazy, guys? When I was
Smoke a
in
doobie.
2nd grade, my dumbass took that out of my mom's car and put it right into the palm of my hand. I had
Raise
no,
your hand.
Yeah,
raise your
that's-
hand
no idea
have
what
you
it was.
done all that.
I thought you were gonna say you licked it.
You got
All
you
done stupid things the best thing.
I know a lot of kids that like licked them.
know you
It
touched one of
hurts.
They
those.
went,
That.
You ever
I mean,
licked-
I've definitely dropped it and then like touched it, trying to pick it up. Like that sucks, you know.
Oh,
But,
dude,
I
I
did
used to
that.
give my thumb bullseyes all the time.
uh,
what?
Fucking finger, the
fun?
thumb. Well, just not for fun, but just to kind of like see if it would hurt.
See if it would hurt. Like that's scientifically
Psychopathy,
proven it'll
ladies
hurt.
and
You
gentlemen.
gotta start reading some science.
Don't you figure that
Next
out?
time.
Oh my god.
Grandma had one in
the
her
first
car. I
time
had
would,
to make
you
sure
know, teach
hers
him,
would
but
work. My aunt had one in her car. I had to see if hers would work. My
They
mom
get red hot.
car.
everyone had one. It was
Neighbor
the
had one in
80s,
their car. I had to
90s.
see if hers would work.
Dummy.
That old
I
Buick.
bet you they all worked, Red.
all worked. Every finger's got a bullseye to prove it.
Oh lord.
Just kidding. I only had to get myself once or twice to learn before the
Once
third.
or twice. You gotta try everything twice, you know.
That 5th time was enough, and it was a doozy.
It was in the back seat. I don't know.
Well, now most cars, at least it seems
That's
like,
a
have
vehicle.
freaking outlets in them. You know what I mean? Like 400 watt, 600 watt, whatever outlets in them. You can
Oh yeah.
roll around charging anything.
Everything.
I remember we had to get an inverter and then we played
Right?
PlayStation 2 in the back.
Shit, I bought an inverter like 4 or 5 years ago just to go camping and like blow up my air mattress. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't another option at the time. It was a plug, you know, an outlet. Now, like every car's got a freaking outlet. You know, gotta go open in your hood and hooking shit up to your battery and pulling out the extension cords and all that.
Wheezin' the Juice says that a speedometer is often mechanical because we need to know that. We need to know our speed. And then the motor RPM isn't a must, but they need data for collecting through the ECU. Yeah, I understand all of that.
I want it though.
I actually drive a stick, and to like having the motor RPM is essential for driving a manual transmission because you'll blow your motor. It's proper timing when you're shifting. Like there's a lot that I use my tachometer for.
We're not talking electronic stick, right?
So what's your
No, I'm-
tachometer now? Just a meter with no numbers?
I've the only automatic car I've ever owned is the Grand Am, the 99 Grand Am that I had that was hand me down from my grandma. I've always owned manual transmissions. I just cannot drive an automatic. I slam on my fucking brakes looking for the clutch, do stupid shit like that. And so I like to have a tachometer where I rarely look at my speedometer. I know how fast my car is going based on how it feels. You know what I mean? Because I know Becca knows. She drives a stick. Even her car in the driveway is a manual transmission. We have 4 cars that are manuals. 3 cars that are manuals. How many cars are 3 cars that are manuals?
It seems like they're getting rid of that as an option.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
nobody knows how to drive them.
It's theft prevention to own one.
That's true.
Or they're making electric engines now. You don't need them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like even the shit, even since 2003, as far as I'm aware, they've been making the electronic shifter, right? So you just have a shifter knob that's your park, you know, reverse, neutral, drive, all that. And then on that knob is a plus and minus that, you know, if you shift it over to the right or whatever, it's going to give you the manual option. I've driven several cars with that. It's just, that seems to be the.
That sounds.
Yeah, to me that I just would
That
rather
doesn't
just
make
drive an
sense to me.
automatic.
I've tried it.
I
It
mean-
doesn't feel right. It feels
Yeah.
clunky. I don't. It's just, what is the point? You know what I mean? It's kind of how I feel.
Stick shift
It's more for when you're struggling with like going up a steep hill or something. You don't want it to fucking shift in the middle of that, or you can put it into that, and then you can have. For mine on my car, it's just on the back of the driving wheel, like so I could hit it with my fingers like this.
Mhm.
One
You got the
side
paddle
up, one
shifters.
side down.
Yeah,
Yeah, the paddle
that's a good
shifter.
point, Spartan. If you need to,
I've never had to use my paddle shifters in the
No.
last 3 cars, sadly.
if you're going down a hill or something, you do need to stay in the gear. You're totally right. You gotta ride that fucker out and
Yeah, you don't shift
Ride
when you're
that
going
red
up
line.
a hill. Shouldn't.
dude, driving the mountains in a manual is fucking insane. It's just fucking insane. I just feel like I'm gonna blow out my engine at every fucking like
Oh
going
yeah.
down is just like because you
Mhm.
not burn out your the idea is don't burn out your brakes, right? And you have the
Mhm.
ability to slow down with your engine, and it's you also need to not blow out your engine. So
Yeah.
Driving through like West Virginia in that area, man, that was quite the experience because I did it at night in the rain, and it's a wild trip driving through the mountains.
Yeah.
my dad rode out the brakes in an Aerostar in the Smokies when I was a little kid, dude. Talk about a fun experience.
Yeah, Smokies. Okay, so the Smokies are the closest thing I can compare, or I can, I guess, relate to the road to Hana in Maui. And the road to Hana in Maui is the road that goes all the way around the island, and essentially for the majority of it is on a cliff. And you're going down a hill or down the mountain and up the mountain and just following the cliff like this the whole way. And a lot of it doesn't have any kind of guardrail, you know what I mean? And you're taking these right, like literally almost 180-degree right turns, you know what I mean, or left turns. Sometimes, it depends on which way you're going or coming, whether you're on the outside lane or the inside lane. And if you're on the inside lane, you're looking up like, man, I'm just waiting for a rock to smash me. And if you're on the outside lane, you're like, I'm just waiting for someone to push me off the cliff, 300, 400, 800 feet to my death or whatever. So that's pretty wild. But then the other side of the island is also a very similar trip. And the last time I was there, that's the trip I did. I've done the road to Hana before, but we decided to do the other side, and it is way more terrifying. And a very large stretch, good portions of it are one lane only. So you'll be coming down this like quarter-mile stretch where you just took a blind right turn, right? And there's just a cliff there, and you take a right turn, and it's 2 lanes, at the top or whatever, but you got maybe about 100 feet of 2 lanes until it gets down to 1 lane. And then you have maybe another 800 feet down this cliff, and then another immediate left turn, you're coming up this cliff. And that whole distance down and up that cliff, which is incredible incline and decline, is all 1 lane. And so you have to look across the bay essentially to the other cliff and see if there's any cars coming. Because if there are, you just got to let them come and pass, because there's 1 lane. Otherwise, you're going to be backing up this cliff to get out of their way.
Oh, dude.
It's it's a lot of fun. And the first time I ever went there, it was like not an option for tourists. Like,
This doesn't sound like fun at all. What are you
It's
talking
not.
about?
It's not fun at all,
It's
Spart,
so
especially
fun.
as a passenger where you have no
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
I grew up going to North Carolina in the winter and summer, and my parents love hiking. So we're going up to Blue Ridge Parkway. Then you get off that thing and find a dirt road that's like that, single lane. So you're going along, hoping your dad doesn't fucking fall down the cliff. And here comes like a moving truck the other way,
or a school
something,
bus. We saw
or
school
something
bus
that's you're
like,
just
there's
like, what
school
the
buses?
fuck?
Dude.
And we've had to back up like that, and you're just like, holy shit. And then you're like, and your dad's freaking out. I don't know if you guys are dads, so it's like, everybody be quiet. We're trying to do this, and they're freaking out. That's their anxiety going off. But everyone's got anxiety. It's just ripping the car apart, and you're just like, I've done it in the winter, and so there's snow and stuff, and so you're hoping the car makes it and doesn't slip.
Oh god,
It's a
There's no
cluster,
winter in
yeah.
Hawaii, but yeah.
It's crazy.
I remember being on we went on a fucking cruise or something when I was in high school, and I was like St. Thomas, I think. We stopped at St. Thomas.
Virgin Islands.
Nice. And we were going from the port to Megan's Bay, which was on the other side of the island, which is up and over the mountain of St. Thomas. And it was like one of those buses where like it's this little bus and it's all open air. There's just like 4 little rods, you know. There's like
so
no
top heavy.
nothing. There's no seat belts or anything, and you're hauling ass through these winding mountain fucking roads, dude. Just getting thrown out the windows of this fucking thing. You're holding on to the top. It's playing fucking Caribbean music. You're just fucking throwing, and people are fucking snapping photos. Cameras are flying out of this fucking thing. Little kids are on and going up. It's fucking absolute chaos. But there's a ton of rum. So everybody's having a blast.
Cruising rum, dude. That's where they make it. It's like $5 a fifth. Oh, and it's so good.
As long as there's rum. Dude, allegedly there was these water bottles on the cruise ship that were like really big, you know, and as a I don't know, dude, what 18-year-old, I was able to purchase some vodka, and at the time I was like, Sky vodka, you know, thinking we're by like the spot. My thing was I wanted some cigars, dude. I wanted to find me some Cubans, you know. That was my thing. I was gonna get some cigarillos and smoke some little fucking cigars, dude. I was a cigarette smoker and I couldn't get cigarettes, you know. It's too hard to get back on the ship. So I fucking found some cigar spot, and I was like, oh man, all these people are like out standing just in the middle of the street, dumping out all this water. What the fuck's going on? And I see other people filling up the water bottles with liquor, just like right out in front of this liquor store. And I'm thinking, oh, all right, that's the gig. Okay, so yeah, I take my sweet time. And oh, hi mom, hi dad. You know, I go up on the fucking cruise ship, go grab my fucking giant fucking bedroom water bottle. I go fucking back off the fucking cruise ship. Hi mom, hi dad. You know, fucking go up in that store, get a pack of Cubans, bottle of fucking vodka, standing out with all the adults, filling up the fucking water bottle with the thing, walking back up on the ship. Oh, hi mom, hi dad. I got my little water bottle. Dude, I literally walked by my mom and dad at security, and allegedly at security. And
I think you're okay.
I think statute of limitations is long gone.
Long gone.
I don't know. You don't. Not if they're in chat listening.
I don't know.
They're always listening, Spartan.
You keep saying hi, mom, hi, dad.
My mom wasn't thirsty, dude. Had she been thirsty and taken a swig of that water and spit the vodka all over the
Oh my gosh.
spit it all over the security guard, and I would have been fucked, dude. Oh no, I had Cubans in my pocket.
Brad, you're not that we're really different generations, but I think your like age group must have taught my age group to do that in high school, because that was like everyone got busted for doing that, just carrying water bottles full of like vodka and shit into high school.
Gin.
Yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? But I will, you know, I'll fess up. My dad definitely asked me why all of his liquor was watered down. You know what I mean? In his liquor cabinet that he didn't realize I had the key to, because he's not very good at hiding it. In a shot glass, Dad, come on.
See, my parents let me try it. They'd be like, oh, you know, here, try it. I'd be like, what's that? And I'd try like something. Wouldn't like it at all.
Was it like beer, wine, liquor? Like what were they?
Yeah,
it'd be random occurrences, like once every 5 years or something, you know, let's say. And then
5 years. So when did you start? Like at like 3?
Oh, let's say I was 6, and I was like, you know, what's that? And it's Christmas or something, and I get a little tiny sip. I didn't like it. It was like the point. And then, you know, I don't know, 5 years later, something like that, I asked, what's that? I remember asking my dad on a plane, that smells disgusting. He goes, try it. It was a Bloody Mary. And I was like, this is disgusting. I don't understand why you people drink this.
Oh,
And
oh, that's so gross.
yeah, and so I never get those occurrences turn me off. So I started with
Christmas
weed.
in
If anything.
2011, they busted out the rum chata.
I'll never forget, man.
heard of that until I met Troy. So
What is a rum shot? I've never heard that till now. Anyways,
had no clue what it was until him.
definitely involves rum.
I may or may not have found my way into the old liquor cabinet, and there was a bottle of rum, and it was Caribbean rum, and it was
Almost hash time.
It was booze cruise rum, and it was like 150 proof rum from the fucking islands. That was just so fucking gross, dude. It was the nastiest shit ever, and I'll never forget fucking. By the time I was done with that bottle, I think they probably got rid of that thing, because it was probably like 20% alcohol by the time. It had been watered down so many fucking times.
Oh, way less than 20%.
Oh my God. Sorry, Daddy Red. I know that's probably a really nice bottle that you got on fucking vacation. I was a little kid and didn't even know it. like little kid, dude, little like fucking 14-year-old kid, fucking sneaking little, not even like drinking a bottle, like sneak a drink, you know, 'cause that's what kids do for some reason.
That was the cool thing about the Virgin Islands is you could be 18 and drink. And my little brother was like not even a preteen yet, and I was taking him out to the restaurant just so I could grab a drink. Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hashtag.
What was Martinique? Martinique's a 16. You can be 16 years old on Martinique. You can like see over the bar top.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Here.
Well, Windsor, right? Windsor's is it 19?
Windsor's 19.
Yeah,
I was drinking
that was
19.
The
that
year
was the cool
You
thing
think-
to do after high school.
You think they'll ever change the ages from 21
No, they love
to
that
8?
tourism. Well, I don't know.
Hold
Oh,
on.
sorry.
Change
Oh, and
of cannabis from 21 to 18.
ooh, I could see them raising it before they lower it.
I don't think they'd ever raise it.
I mean, what is it with cigarettes? Did they put it
Yeah,
back
I
to
thought they
21
raised
now?
cigarettes.
Cigarettes went
cigarettes
back to
were-
21.
I think they made it cigarettes if you're born after a certain year now, like in California.
Like your grandfather in or something.
buy, and you can't ever
Oh, yeah.
buy cigarettes. or
Yeah,
tobacco.
cigarettes or tobacco. Yeah, if you're born like after
What?
2004, like you can't have them
I
anymore.
think-
What?
They're
Yeah.
just creating demand now. Oh my god, they're gonna make a fucking
Like
Black
you
market.
another
That's
black
Cali for
market
ya.
fucking cigarette.
They know what they're
So
doing.
stupid.
Black
Any tobacco
market
product.
cigarettes. I mean, it's already.
That's so easy, especially if you live close to the border. Fuck. Jesus.
You know, the big thing here in Michigan is always
It's a
to just go to
border.
Ohio or Indiana to get our cigarettes because, dude, you get your cigarettes way cheaper down there, allegedly.
Really? I just knew you had to go there to get Everclear.
Definitely that too,
That too.
allegedly.
I mean,
Yingling.
now you can just order it online, but yeah, Yingling. I had some
Ridiculous.
friends from Ohio that would bring that up. I feel like I saw that in like a Costco or something recently.
You think
Not up here.
Michigan was just built by a bunch of Puritans or something? With all their
Well, they have a weird alcohol system up here. It's like state regulated and shit.
What do you mean? You could get it anywhere.
There's like state minimum pricing. I'd never seen that until I moved here.
Really?
What
I mean-
does that mean? State minimum? You're
I have no idea,
regulating my
'cause everyone says
capitalism?
it.
You're telling me how much I can minimally charge?
I assume.
What if I want
is
to
that a
charge
tax
$5 a fifth? I'll pay my tax on the $5.
I think it
thing? I
has.
mean, the CRA doesn't really like you doing that. You
It
know
has
what I
to do
mean?
with what you're purchasing it for.
CRA doesn't care what you sell your bud for,
It's a purchasing.
as long as you pay your licenses and follow their rules.
Yeah, well, yeah,
to
but
ensure that
And
you're
let,
not-
yeah.
it's to ensure
that's why
that
they have sampling things though, because they don't like the whole like 1 cent deals. Like you buy one, you get one free. You can't
Yeah,
really do free, right? So you got to buy it.
Oh,
for
I
like a
see what you're
cent.
saying.
And so
They
what the
made
reason
that,
for the
though. They made that
alcohol
a thing because of their stupid rules.
Yeah, you
So,
can.
I mean,
There's BOGOs crazy now.
the reason is so that they don't purchase for other entities on their behalf. You know what I mean?
Right? They want it all tracked, like every gram, or whatever.
Well, with the alcohol, that's why they do it with the alcohol. Is what I'm saying, so that you're not like purchasing for a bunch of entities. So that's what state minimum is, making sure that you're not selling it for less than what you paid for it. State minimum is you're selling it for, minimum is what you bought it for, basically.
So is that just like an anti-laundering scheme? Like I don't
know
really
if for
understand.
laundering or
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
understand.
yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's not for necessarily like doing that or making sure that you're not buying a bunch of alcohol for somebody else. That
It's like sometimes Amazon buys so much shit from a fucking company, they sell it cheaper than that company's website.
right.
So
Oh.
what's wrong with that? I mean,
No,
Dude, that's been going on for years. If you look at the like
That's what I'm
construction
saying.
industry, like Lowe's and Home
Yeah.
Depot, they buy shit in such bulk quantities that they're selling it for cheaper than
that's why I
the
find it
distributors
weird.
can even buy it for and sell directly to the contractors. So it's just
Well, yeah, the state pricing
Monopolization.
goes through the distributor is the thing, because if you buy, as a consumer, we can just purchase from somebody who sells liquor, right? As a consumer, but if you're a liquor store or if you're a bar, you have to purchase through
Think about that.
you have to purchase through one of the two main distributors, which are what the fuck are they? Great Lakes Wine and Spirits is one of them, and the other one is one's in Brownstown, and the other one's over in Detroit. I used to have to go drive to them and go do pickups all the time for the bar that I was managing. I used to forget a liquor order. They do drop offs. You know, they're the only distributors in the state. There's 2 distributors. They're in those 2 major locations, and they distribute to the entire state weekly.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, you
One's,
see their trucks.
I hope they don't do
everywhere.
that with cannabis.
one's in Detroit, one's in Brownstown, and they do
If
separate
they're doing it with liquor, you can.
provide.
I'm saying, like, how, yeah,
No,
like,
Funny you say that. That was the first law was kind of written that way.
2
They have a cannabis
farms.
board, just exactly like. Actually, you had to go through the liquor board. you had, they were going to
Oh,
be
wow.
control it off. So yeah, that was
Incredibly.
quickly shot down. Not a lot of support for that one.
Yeah. That's, yeah. Well, did you guys see what Oklahoma had such big turnout at their state hearing thing that they had to reschedule it? So that's pretty interesting.
Sounds like a good way to get everyone not to show up the next time.
Yeah, that was a
Don't
weird.
they normally just do
yeah.
overflow rooms and stuff? What happened?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. the
Pull up an article.
process.
Someone fill me in.
No,
I need news.
More people showed up than they had the capacity to hold, and it's against their law to not do that. So they can't hold a meeting until they can get a venue or rent a venue so that everybody can be there to be heard.
I feel like, and I feel like,
okay.
I feel like what Fergoli says, like that's convenient for the government.
Oh,
Because
100%. Yeah.
Because now all the people that might have had to take off work might not be able to get off work next week. or
All you got
whenever
to do is
guys
have
it.
all you got to
Right,
do is have
but
And
your
you're the
lobbyists
state, so you
send
know you should have
30
a
people
big
to show up
room.
at the front of the room or front of the line to take over the room. You know what I mean? Like,
So
then you can't even get
Oklahoma
your
has
vote
Well, in Oklahoma, everyone has to get a word.
in. No,
Apparently,
yeah,
that
that's
shows
the
up.
difference.
Yeah.
So also, you have to realize that 1 out of 1,000 people gives a fuck about the government and shows
Yeah.
up for these things. So for the government to, I mean, you'd be just as pissed off if the government bought a stadium, you know. You know what I'm saying? To
Just a home
house
game.
everybody in
Yeah,
their
like,
district, to
we
make
could
sure
just
they
do a
have the
Zoom
seat
call.
for everybody, and then nobody uses it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's one of those situations. Normally, nobody fucking shows up. Well, people show the fuck up. So
Yeah. I think it was 8,000 or something. I don't know.
Wow, nice.
Or 800.
Wait, was this
8,000, I don't know.
a
It was a
state
lot.
hearing? What was this?
I don't know. That was the thing. I saw a clip from Brandon Russ, and they were like,
I think
I don't know.
it was-
Everybody had
I think
minutes
it's
to
a bunch of
talk.
like brought together into one thing is what I got from it. You know, it was the cup situation. It's, you know, the state stuff. I think it was a bunch of stuff, and I think people just showed up.
Yeah.
it was a march too. They marched on the Capitol, so there was a march.
Yeah.
They had some talks, and then they went inside to address their. You know, they only have the right, like, as a citizen, you need to go find your representative. So there's a whole like organizational thing. Like, you got to figure out who your rep is. You got so you can go talk to them, and then we don't have the capacity to hold however many people over there. There's a whole crowd. I didn't see the numbers. I just saw a whole crowd of people.
So Oklahoma's program has been medical only this whole time. They're not rec yet. I thought they have had like a
I'll
green.
Google it.
Yeah, they were like doling out licenses like candy. So I'd be surprised
but
if
medical
it was only
licenses.
really.
All medical licenses, and they're just like,
Jeez.
so there was their medical system like that robust? Is there like
The
just
biggest thing they're having problems with is
such a was overproduction in Oklahoma? Isn't that kind of one of the issues with the?
I think the best person to get to answer these questions is to get Brandon Russ on here.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Because I just assumed that it was wrecked because of how much cannabis was being produced there.
That's me too. But
Because
yeah,
it
Be medical.
Yeah, for it to just be
I know at one point Brandon Russ said it was $2,500 for a license, and it just was like,
That's what I mean, dude.
if you had
no
500
cap.
acres, you could grow 500 acres.
Dude, I know people that are still in 2023 moving from Michigan to Oklahoma because of how just easy it is, the difference. And I'm just like, it seems oversaturated to me. But
they went metric and it fucked everybody out of fucking their license.
Yeah, then Metric came in, and Metric really added cost to everybody's grow, and like it does. It
And the
Oh,
other
you're not
reason
gonna-
that like
you're not gonna pass with just
The only reason we speculated on this stuff is because our market is in fact affected by Oklahoma's market because of the surplus that they've had has come up in here and things like that. And not that, even it's an issue, but it's just that it's interesting that it wasn't even, it's only medical, and that's what a unlimited license state. It just that kind of a pretty much decriminalized status, in my opinion, if that's the way that they were doing that.
Oklahomans decide on recreational March 7th. Today.
I'm curious
Go out
to
and vote.
how they're going to vote
Oh,
on that.
maybe that was it.
I'm curious to how they're going to vote on it because, like, look what happened here in Michigan or even Florida or Illinois, where you get a limited license state. I wonder what they're voting on.
Yeah.
What it says.
Is it? Yeah.
They're going to have no, any of that stuff,
Let me see.
Say no without home grow.
Let's see. Yes on 820. What is 820? Will safely regulate and tax marijuana for adults 21 plus in Oklahoma, generate millions of dollars in new tax revenue, and provide.
Sounds like bullshit
Oh,
already.
sounds great. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Generate that tax revenue.
So takeover.
But I mean, essentially what they're saying at least is yeah, recreational. But let me see. Yeah, I mean, this looks like the same thing in Florida that was MILF. Make it legal, Florida. It was like, oh yeah, it looks great. But when you like, there's no fine print on this front page. Where's the actual specifics of what you guys want
There
to
never
do?
is.
Yeah, look
dude.
at the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the law.
And
Oh
this
yeah,
is-
well you gotta look.
okay.
You shouldn't have to. It should be like, hey, we're this, and this is what we're here to do on the
No.
first banner that you make.
But that's the
pretty
problem.
simple.
The way the way regulation kind of works is like we like approve this proposal, right? And this very limited language, and then we leave it up to some 3-letter agency to actually lay out
Here
the
we go.
regulation and the rules. And so
No,
whatever
it's
we
not. It's usually it's written out as a law and then voted on. Well, that's how ours was in 2008. You could read the law before it was even voted on,
This is
as
18
it was
pages,
presented
so
before the
maybe
vote.
and how many
They just don't
emergency
print it on
rules
there.
have we had
Christ.
since then?
Emergency rules applied to the other, not to the 2008 law. That you're talking about the 2015.
Yeah, I'm
law.
talking rec, which is what we're talking about right here, which is a rec law.
Yeah, that'd be 18. Though.
Yeah, but if it's voted on by the people, it's different than if it's voted on by the House.
Oh, Oklahoma. Never mind.
Well, don't the people vote on it first and it goes to the House?
No,
Sometimes
I don't know.
Sometimes.
And
If it's a
depends on how it's
proposal, then
split
yes.
Yeah.
With the, 'cause
Some
I
states
think
don't even have
I
the
thought
ability to do
then you
that.
hash out the rules and then it goes to the House. I don't know.
No, what we did for our medical was a 2008 was a ballot initiative. So it was on the ballot as a for the people
Proposal.
to vote on. It wasn't voted on by a House or a Senate or anything like that. And the law was all written out already. You could go on and look at it before you voted and read every letter of the law because I did it.
Yeah. So.
But that's completely different than what when the facility, the MLFLA or whatever it was back then, where they brought in the rec in 2015. That was done through the
bullshit
legislation.
that fucked me because we purchased our property before that bullshit went through. We were under the
Hold on. I thought we voted on rec as a proposal in Michigan.
No, we did. We're talking about the MMFLA 2015 medical when the state voted in their medical
gotcha.
license
Okay.
with
Okay.
and
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
you could
still
go
on
to
rec because we were
you could
talking
go
about
to a
Oklahoma.
dispensary and buy. Before that, it was
The
just
next level of it,
yeah.
just caregivers and
conscious had to
patients.
opt into medical.
hmm
Nobody would, we had commercial property and a beautiful build out. Man, DOG is just going to town on this water. We're just gonna give it a second. Just let him just take it in, guys. Just
I
listen.
brought my dog to the gas station tonight for the first time. Actually, brought her in, and because the attendant's like, "Oh, I love kids. I love dogs. Well, you want to meet mine? I got one of them
Did you
out
get
in
them
the car."
premium?
Gas?
Yeah.
No,
Premium or regular?
no. I just get regular. Why would I get
Oh.
premium? I don't have no super
I
car.
don't know. Took your dog to the gas station. I don't do that. I take my car there.
It should be
Shh.
premium. But
I'm glad. I'm
Is
glad
that-
Spartan
Those are all
is enjoying that one.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
Shout out Blue. Your chocolate works. My dogs are high as fuck. Oh boy.
Wait, what?
She said her dogs are high as fuck from your chocolates. What she,
Yeah.
sounded like she said to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Who's what? Who
we
chocolate?
left them out on the counter, unfortunately.
Oh no!
Actually, it's been there for like 3 days and no trouble from any of them. And then I got up this morning and I came out from the room from doing a dab and I was like, oh, what are you guys fighting over now? And I thought it was a damn sock and it was the damn chocolates from Blue Kiss.
Oh,
So
correct me if I'm wrong, but dogs aren't supposed to have chocolate, right?
no.
Okay, okay.
No, that's what I wasn't worried about the cannabis. I was more worried about the chocolate.
Right. Yeah. Because they'll just
So-
go to sleep or whatever. But
One, it's
Thank
funny.
God for the cannabis that saved their lives.
One
wonder if it counteracts it.
like been
Science.
playful all day. She's been
I
wanting
think-
to play with the sock all day, and then the other boxer is like lip hanging out. She's like red eye. She's like, ugh. We were trying to get her to go to the bathroom. She wouldn't even go to the bathroom, so she's done. I think she probably got more than the other one, or the
Sounds
other one
like
has a higher
it.
tolerance, maybe.
Zena's definitely got the higher.
She's the one that always steals the CBD cream. Oh my god!
She
man.
knows what she likes.
Well, hey, if you have some CBD, you can give her some. It might help.
Oh yeah, I guess I could have done that too.
That's a good point.
I think for Sarah, I think for chocolate they have to eat like their whole body weight ish
Oh wow, really?
for it to like kill them. So
Okay.
Well,
a
I know
lot,
I've done that myself.
a lot.
God.
They might get a
and
little sick.
Spartan's still here.
Yeah, they did
We'll
not
be
get
okay.
that. They probably each had. I know how much we had. I know how much we had, and I know how much we have left. So I think each might have had like 3 to 4 chocolate pieces, which is a good size,
Yeah,
like
for both.
75.
A non-insignificant amount, as they
No,
say.
yeah.
It
Nothing.
might like upset their stomach or give them bad bathroom
We've-
times, but
We've honestly done this before, and I just was worried this time because it was Blue Kisses, and I know it can be a little strong. So I was just worried about that. So
Isn't it like real cocoa you have to use though? Actually hurts you.
Theobromine. It's theobromine specifically.
Okay.
It's
I was
gonna act as a stimulant.
What is that in?
Yeah.
Like Hershey's? Is that in Hershey's?
Yeah.
Milk chocolate, it's a lot less.
not use
Not
Hershey's.
less.
Oh, okay.
Probably use like the good stuff. It is
Definitely.
so good. Yeah, that we were really upset. We're like,
The good
"Fuck,
stuff.
this is our damn chocolate. Ugh.
Yeah, if it's like fudge or something like really heavy.
No fudge.
But sugar's not good for dogs. And,
No.
and, like THC, so moderate. Like, all right, here's the thing about THC. THC is not going to kill your dog in like a moderate dose, but like dogs have twice as many cannabinoids as we do. So they have twice as many cannabinoid receptors as we do. So not only is their weight classification going to be different and dosage by weight is going to be different, but then you also need to take in a little additional math and calculate that they have twice as many cannabinoid receptors. So whatever dose, your Aunt Linda's going to take, and not have a panic attack and think about that, is a small dose. Well, your dog's got to have, less than that just by their weight alone. And then even half of that based on the twice the amount of receptors that they have. So think about what type of a dose could actually give your dog a panic attack. You know what I mean? So it's not that they're like gonna physiologically maybe injured, but they might get sick. They might have a bad time. Think about how we
Just like
might
you did,
react to it.
I
Think about how
one
we
is having a good time, and the other one is like, fuck my life right now.
yeah, see, right, exactly.
And,
One wants to sleep it
like-
off. The other's like, let's do it. Let's go.
She
Play.
literally ran up and down the couch, like rubbing her face all over the place and just acting real erratic. And Troy's like, oh goodness, oh my god, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, she's all right, just let her do it. And then the other one's like throw the sock. Let's play. Let's go outside and run around. And she's been like that since 9:00 this morning.
Wear yourself out.
So, little,
But yeah, they'll totally be fine. I
I
mean,
know. I feel horrible because, this is, I know better, but they got it off the counter and it's like, damn it, I guess I should have had it in the cabinet.
and that's all like treats, snacks, and goodies. Hope your dog doesn't get into like a chocolate cake or like any other like caramels or
Happen.
hard candies or any of that kind of stuff. They had a sugar rush. Sugar rush could give them a fucking heart attack or something.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I had 2 leftover pieces of pizza that I was gonna throw out to the chickens, and I had them up on top of like my deep freezer in the room that my dogs are in, and this deep freezer is like blocked off by like boots and boxes and shit, and like well, my pit bull that used to not even walk through a doorway if I had a 20-ounce bottle of water sitting in it decided to weave through all these boots very carefully, get up on top of the freezer, pull the box out, and eat the pizza that was meant for the chickens. And now I know because she used to not do that stuff, and now she's just like, no, man, you giving this shit to the chickens. I'm gonna get this first. I'm sick of watching you walk out there with it, and I'm just trying to grab this bag out of your hand.
I was just gonna say, she hasn't tried to go after them chickens yet. You're like, fuck them.
No, she just
come in
rather
here
steal the
taking
bagel
all
under
this
the
good
fence.
Hot piece of pizza. That dog's going for
The
that.
dog
I mean,
heard
it's
about,
like 3
heard
days
about
cold,
the
but
bacon
still.
grease and the oats. Bacon grease and oats. What are you give me the fucking pizza, man? Quit giving them all the
I'm telling you, my chickens eat good. My poor dogs are like, what happened to all the scraps we used to get?
right.
Yeah, I make the chickens. I give them a couple eggs.
Becca made like 5 eggs for the dogs and chickens today.
Yeah, we got way too many eggs.
Right?
Yeah.
Recycling, man.
We're to the point now. Yep.
I just don't want them to start going bad. Like they won't. And
Well,
I'll give some away.
The neighbors are gonna have to get some because they've been smelling pine and pear shavings for the last week. So it's about time to start giving them a little.
I know you can get actually this is how they do it in Europe as far as I'm aware. They sell them in half cartons, like half dozen eggs. So I know you can get those half cartons, and those are a fun way to give as like presents to people, because a lot of people, it takes them a little bit to get through a dozen eggs. And if you've like we've had in the past, like had half dozen birds, it takes a little bit to like get that stock going, and then by the time you do, it's like, oh shit, like we got to get rid of these quick, so
Yep.
That's a nice way to hand them out to neighbors and stuff.
I like the half dozen. In fact, some of our dozen packs, I'll just cut them right down in half.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you just don't eat eggs for like 2 or 3 days. And then
yeah. If you're not like baking every day or like eating eggs for breakfast every single day. Yeah.
When they were first starting, we were eating like 4 or 5 eggs a day and like pretty regularly. And now it's like every other day.
Just like
Sometimes we
between
skip.
the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Making quiche. Get good at making quiche.
Right. Souffles and
Well, once the vegetables are
Do
propped
a lot
in,
of baking. I
char-
like peanut butter
charred and
cookies. I like cakes.
charred and
cupcakes are my favorite.
All the things I just mentioned
are live.
use eggs.
A lot of eggs.
all of the things. Those two
Brownies.
things you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, brownies. That's a good one. These.
Yeah,
You could add an extra egg, make them fudgy.
Yeah,
somehow
get
you
to
might be able to make Rice Krispie treats with eggs.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, I don't know, because then you don't
Yeah.
cook Rice Krispies.
Well, what have you made? How would you make your own Rice Krispies?
The egg
You
white.
melt egg and butter and then throw a box of
No,
frickin'
Rice
Krispies at it,
Krispies.
like-
Without buying the Rice Krispies. Could you make your own?
Marshmallow.
We're talking, you're on a desert, you're on an off-grid situation, closed loop. How you making some Rice
I don't know,
Krispies?
but I don't have chickens and eggs either, so I'm not really worried about making Rice
In this
Krispies.
scenario, you got chickens and eggs.
Well, I'm just gonna eat the eggs. I'm not worried about making freaking Rice Krispies. That's the
You've
last
You've
thing
been
in my
living-
mind.
You've been living there
I-
quietly for 30 years, and you're tired of eating
30 years,
gruel,
I'm probably
and
ready
nuggets
to
for
be
dinner.
done.
so you want to make some Rice Krispie cakes.
You'd have to figure out how to pop some rice.
You gotta
which
grow
can
rice.
do.
I guess I gotta make
See,
some rice.
now we're
patties,
getting
dude.
somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Pop
All right,
rice.
do we have
Find
do we
some
have
rice grains.
a height for like rice paddies and like ledges and things like that you need to use to make rice? I don't know how to grow rice, guys. I'm going based
Oh,
off
yeah.
pictures.
You
I've
need,
seen
yeah,
lots of water,
Local hill.
Lots of water.
maybe a pond.
Find a
but
pond.
not salt water. Is this like an island in the middle of like Lake Huron, or is this like an island in the middle of like the
Beaver
Pacific?
Island.
You know,
Be salty water.
yeah,
Well,
Beaver Island. Can we go with Beaver Island? That's
We're on
fun.
Beaver Island. We got fresh water to work with.
Baked has no idea what Beaver Island is.
That's where I'm going with the
Nope.
apocalypse. Well, everybody's
Don't tell
going there.
everyone.
Ah,
Don't tell everyone.
All right, then you can
Shut down the
also
ferry.
grow marshmallow root, and that you can also have horses, sure, and get some gelatin. There you go. It's
Boom.
gonna take a while.
Yeah, but you got the rest of the
he's got
apocalypse.
30 years.
Yeah,
Oh, and you
Yeah.
also need cows for butter, and
that's part of a
probably
closed
milk,
loop system.
and probably some
could use
cannabis,
goats.
so you can infuse it because
Right. I mean, that's the whole
it's just
point.
so much
Well, the
better.
cannabis, yeah, that's just
If you
That's
need
been growing
milk,
for
you
30
could
years.
use goats or cats potentially.
Not cats, you weirdo.
I would not. Don't.
Hey,
don't
cat's
I'm
the
putting
other
it out
white
there.
meat.
Don't ever give me Rice Krispie treats made with cat milk. Please, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I'm on that. I agree with that.
Put me on that
Also
list.
grow beets for sugar.
Yeah, yeah, sugar beets.
Why is it okay to drink cow milk but not okay to drink cat milk? Why is one animal better
I'm
than
not
the
gonna do it in this lifetime. Maybe that's something the people in the future will want to do.
Spartan, you can
But
milk
this-
anything
I'm not
with
gonna do
nipples.
that. Yeah, that's that whole thing.
You
Like,
Country
just
gets it.
grain one cat or you milk multiple cats.
My point is why would you be okay with a cow? They're pretty
because
different.
I already
from
drank cow milk. It's done. It's over, man. I like it.
He's committed.
Oh, dude.
I'm
Don't go
committed to
back.
cow milk. I'm not committed to cat milk.
Dude, I'm back on the milk train. I didn't drink milk for like 7 or 8 years, dude. 7 or 8 years I went without milk, and it was so crazy. And I had milk, and it was a full glass. I was,
What percentage was it, dude?
A good old fashioned was 2%.
No, we get
Two-
we get
A2,
A2
A2.
milk.
What is
What is
A2 milk? Is that Ann Arbor milk?
I can't drink
No.
Yeah,
regular.
it sounds like Ann Arbor milk.
No, it's a different.
It is Ann Arbor.
So
I've been to Ann
cows,
Arbor,
most
but
cows
it's not Ann
produce
Arbor.
A1 milk, which is
So.
the protein that's in it. But there are some
Lactose
cows, and they're
thing.
not as commercially milked in our country and across the world, so you don't really see them a lot. But those cows have a different type of protein that's a lot easier on the human system to digest. So some people who have issues with lactose or normal milk can drink A2 milk and have no problems.
Interesting.
So
What
I
are we talking? What?
do
Let's
they
get
still
down
have-
to brass tacks. What are we
But do
talking?
they
A
still have
gallon?
this different fat content like whole milk?
You can
Yeah.
get it at Kroger.
2%.
It's at Kroger. It's at Meyer.
$10 a gallon.
No, absolutely not. It's like $3.99, $4.99.
Oh, that's reasonable.
it's not a gallon though.
it's like a
What do the cows look like? Are they like normal?
I think they're just different species. I don't know the exact.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna Google it.
I mean,
A1 versus
I know.
A2.
I know
You're gonna be
Horizon
drinking
milk,
their
and
juice. You might as well
that's
see what they look like.
$4.99, $5.99 for a half gallon. So he's right. It's $10 a gallon. If
I guess.
jeez.
I guess that's.
I
it.
just threw a number out there, but I
You
mean,
don't
hey,
use
that's milk nowadays.
I
though.
don't
It's
use milk.
dairy.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I can just drink all the milk like I used to. So maybe I'll get some A2 milk.
Just try it. I mean,
A1.
I don't like the nut milks
No,
everyone
A2.
drinks because it's like
A1.
watery.
No,
It's
no, no.
watery.
A2.
and
You
a
said
lot,
A2.
a lot of those nut milks.
A1.
Look
They,
at this. Look at this. I found
A1's
a
a steak
picture.
sauce.
Look at
A
this
lot
fucking
bigger than
camel
that.
looking thing.
Camel?
Wait, you got
Yeah,
camel
check it
milk?
out.
it,
Look at that.
we still
Oh,
have
yeah.
it's a camel juice. It's a camel milk.
Oh wow, those are
milk.
very different looking.
What about camel milk?
Yep.
We haven't
Yeah.
even broken into the other
It's from India.
giant.
Dude, I was joking about the camel milk. Stop, Red. Don't do it. Don't go down this line.
Dude, what about yak milk? Or what about these giant rudimentary
Oh,
animals?
good
There's a
for
lot
health.
of different milk out there.
bad for health. If I know anything, the internet doesn't lie.
Yep.
That's a pretty
Facts right
simple
there.
graph too.
Yeah,
man.
I'm on board, Becca. I'm on board. This picture sold
We
it.
got to dig into this A2 guy.
No, I will try it. I will try if I see it though.
something about it also though is that it's usually all grass fed, and that's going to be a huge difference in the
Huge
quality.
difference. difference.
So look for that in the nut milks that you get, almond milk, coconut milk. A lot of them add oil, like canola oil,
Soybean oil.
sunflower oil, and that's what's bad.
Hey,
So there's
it-
always a catch. You got to read.
And we still have
do they have
coconut milk
chocolate
in
A2?
cereal. There's a chocolate too. There's
Oh, dope. I love chocolate. I got
Wait,
big old
I
thing
got
of it over
real
there.
quick, Becca. What is
Culver's
you
Dairy
said
chocolate.
Horizon makes this? What am I if I go to like Meyer?
It's not Horizon. It's just in that
Oh.
same type of like square cardboard.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like in the missing persons milk
Yeah,
carton, like we
it's
all
all-
think about.
I'm not sure.
It's a
That's what I
half
think about.
I'm not sure if
much
I
Law and
bought
Order.
it at
Well, that's
Meyer,
bigger than a half.
but I bought it at Kroger this last week, and they're in like a whole blue and a whole red carton.
Okay.
Or they have two, like a whole milk and
I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna try it out. 'Cause,
yeah.
I mean, I honestly only drink milk in my coffee. I have, a couple shots of espresso with some steamed milk every morning, but I'm not really drinking cereal or eating cereal or doing much else, I guess, with milk nowadays. But yeah, I mean, I drink it every day because I drink a freaking
Yeah, I put it
latte or whatever every day.
I put it in my coffee every day. He likes to just drink it, and it's just worth it. They even are starting to make yogurts with it, and it's just it helps.
Does it taste anything like Greek yogurt? Because Greek yogurt can just go die somewhere else and
What are you
never
talking
show
about?
up
Greek
again.
yogurt
It's
is
so
good.
gross. Oh, it's so gross.
It's
Spartan,
Out of your
you and
mind.
I have one thing in
Get
common.
outta
It's
here.
that we grow weed. I don't know if we're ever going to meet eye to eye on anything else. I swear to God.
I agree, man. We can agree on that.
You know what I like? I like
Greek
froyo.
yogurt. I like Greek yogurt.
What
is
is
not all
froyo?
watered
I'm not
down.
really
It's like
understanding
ice-
this.
it's
other than,
basically
like,
ice
Gen
cream.
Z, like,
Frozen yogurt.
I don't. They call it froyo, but it's ice cream, dude.
Frozen
They-
yogurt.
They think they're getting one on you, but you're getting one on
I'm
them.
confused.
Because you can convince healthier people to be like, yeah, we'll go
Oh,
get
it's one of
froyo
those, like,
instead.
Yo,
We're getting
yo,
froyo, but we're putting like 3,000 calories worth of toppings on it, so it's okay.
Well, I don't think the way the froyo
Yeah.
toast is too good to be healthy. I'll tell you that. There's no way it's that much healthier
Is it
than ice
just
cream.
the ice cream? Is it just like flavoring that makes it delicious? I really have no
I
idea
don't
what
know.
froyo is.
I just
I've
know
never
it comes
gotten
out of the same like soft serve machines.
Oh, soft serve, really?
Well, like the froyo place I went to, you go in and there's like 18 different froyo flavors.
Oh wow!
I think
Did
it's
they ever break down like McDonald's?
milk.
I
They used to have one
imagine.
in the mall. It's not
Yogurt.
there.
yeah, I think it's yogurt based, just with a lot of sugar,
That's
rather
right.
than just milk based.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's,
says it's delicious, but I don't know.
It's good. I
Have
mean,
you been to
it is,
Culver's
but
and had the frozen
it is.
custard?
It's delicious, but I just feel like
I've been to
not
Culver's,
that
but
much
I've never had
healthier.
their frozen custard, dude. I look at it every time, and I'm just like,
What?
I'm just not a ice cream
What?
guy. See, another thing.
Of course. Yeah, you can't be liking custard. You can't be liking ice cream because that was so crazy to like ice cream.
Too delicious. I like cupcakes. All right, I'm a small serving
Oh.
kind of guy.
Boom, Becca, make some cupcakes with eggs because they require
That's what I
eggs.
said earlier. Who needs to
Yeah.
make a whole cake? We can make cupcakes and for everybody.
Muffins,
I'll come pick some up.
cannabis muffins are some of my favorite things. To
Hold
make.
on, hold
I need to
on,
make some
hold
of
on,
those.
hold on. All right, I've made terp cookies. Can we make terp cupcakes?
Ooh, yeah.
Probably.
Some.
Do your
I've made.
cookies use eggs for Groli?
he's
Let's
got
say again.
Do you need eggs?
Oh, that's what I mean. No, I'm not asking him. He needs them. I know he has them. Do your cookies use eggs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right on the ingredients it says single source egg.
Oh, perfect.
Just so you know.
Nice. I like it. Even
And you feed those chickens your fan leaves, right?
Yep.
So those eggs.
Yeah. Actually,
those
so
eggs can be infused, man.
cannabis.
that's fair. I mean, they get steak and all sorts of other things too. But like, I will say, pizza when the dogs don't get it. I found out recently. We were talking about this maybe like 2 weeks ago about storing up leaves for the chickens or something like that. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now. You guys had given them a bunch to yours, Red and Becca, and I realized like going out and like tonight, for example, I took the tops off of all of my transplants that I did. So I transplanted a bunch of 1 gallons into 10 gallons and I, just top them. It's kind of a dual stress situation, right? So I had all these tops and I've been doing this for maybe a week and a half now. Every time I'm taking like defoliating, pulling fan leaves, taking tops, anything like that, I've been putting them in buckets and putting them in the freezer because, we all know if like you put them in a bag, like they can get like moldy real quickly. Like that bag gets all like saturated with water and everything because they don't like to hold their moisture when they're freshly pulled off. But when I throw them in the freezer, they hold their shape, they're crispy and everything. It's like little chips. And so I just dump buckets full of fan leaves out for the chickens, like little crispy chips for them. I don't know. They've been enjoying them.
Yeah.
But it keeps them fresh too, because I'm not going out there every day dumping like 1 5-gallon bucket. Like, because 2 days later I might have 15-20 gallons worth of plant material or whatever. So I'll just take them all out there kind of when I don't have the space in my freezer anymore.
We
We'll
put ours
collect
in a
them.
bag.
We'll collect them into bags, and I just make sure they're dry if they're going in there, if in the fridge. But I usually feed them whatever we bring home, like right away.
Yeah, you said something about keeping it in the garage. That was what it was. Because
If it's hot, we'll put it in like a garbage bag and seal
that makes
it up
sense.
so it holds some moisture, like some humidity, and then it just stays cold enough where it's fine.
Yeah, so it's not a huge pile where the bottom is like heating up and composting, like, doing its thing. I used to give cannabis leaves to a bar for their cocktails, and they would hold leaves for like 3-4 weeks one time in their fridge because it was a slow time, I guess. And I'd give them a couple hundred leaves at a time, and they'd put the leaves in the cocktails and stuff. And
that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool partnership for a little while. But one time I didn't hear from him for like 3-4 weeks. I reached out and he's like, "No, I still have a few from that last batch. Do you need a refresh?" No, they still look fine. I just line them up in a Ziploc, give them a couple different Ziploc bags. I wouldn't put any more than I think maybe like 50 in a bag, And
you put some paper towel.
Yeah, I'd put a little paper towel, but he'd also like
he's over there tissue culturing your strains like 20 years ago.
Leave them open and like not seal them up is kind of sometimes the trick, but make sure that you're leaving them in the humidity drawer is a beautiful, beautiful thing to utilize in your refrigerator if you know how to use them properly. Those things are for your leafy greens and keeping your vegetables fresh. They provide humidity inside your cold space. So those humidity drawers can work. But yeah, dude, if you got a 5-gallon bucket worth, you got to go through them that day or they're gonna
throw them in the freezer if you got a deep freezer.
Like
some extra space.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one coming.
Yes,
we brought
prepared to get another one.
We're gonna juice some leaves recently, but we neglected on it, and they ended up going to the chickens. But did we bring all of our prunes home to the chickens?
They love it. They go.
They really do,
especially in the winter right now with everything. Just being
not a whole lot of greens out there. They'll scratch through that stuff. I used to juice them too. I used to throw them in not really juice them, I guess, but I used to throw them into like frozen berry shakes, if you will. And man, they were a great addition. I haven't done that in a long time though, but I was staring at these like potential clones, these tops I took today off of some lime skunk that I transplanted, a whole like 2 lights, 2 tables worth or whatever. Just looking at these tops, I'm like, man, like these are pretty viable clones. I'm like, they're also pretty viable smoothies. I'm like, you know what? I'll just give them the chickens. I'll just throw them in that freezer bucket.
you ever top your plants without your hands? Just like you like
scissor your legs or something.
Look at Becca
with this. Yeah.
She's
Becca's
like,
really
explain
nervous.
Explain this.
Like with scissors,
like a headbutt or
see a top.
Eat it like a
here's
chicken.
A top. The top's moving by. You're like, the top.
You've never done that. There's no way.
Yeah, do the top, man. Just
No.
I've never done that. To be,
I guess
quite
I see what
frank
you're
with
saying. You could definitely do a big plant.
I've done it to
chop off
other
the top.
plants, but
Or
not.
Eat it, nut tree.
Can't
Eat
Eat it, nut tree.
do it. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
No, the
yeah.
whole thing.
It's
Or are
good
you
for you.
cloning? He might be
It's
cloning.
good for you. It's loaded with protein.
This is a male. We got a couple males back
he
here.
doesn't want to put a nail in his mouth, man.
It ain't gonna be the first time nut tree. Come on.
Eat a leaf.
Oh, you gotta do them like that.
I don't want to force you to eat it. Don't eat any. Oh, there you go. Now that's good.
Then he's like, nope.
What a champ.
Oh my god.
Brad, remember when you showed up at
Uh,
3:15? I remember you
Allegedly.
flipping right off and sticking it in your mouth.
Doing what?
I may or may not have pulled a leaf out of their trimmings
Yeah.
bucket and
I
ate it.
remember, and I was just like, oh my.
And yeah, and then I remembered I was on camera and all that
Yeah.
shit. I was like, oh yeah, I
I'm
should
free.
have.
No
Yeah,
worries.
He's chewing it for an awfully long time.
I needed
Beck,
to.
you remember though that Red did where the bottom was with the arrows?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out the arrows. I was
Nope.
like, I just could not figure it out. I was like, oh,
Probably because you're eating leaves, you don't know where they came
yeah,
from.
dude. I was, yeah.
Better test
Oh my gosh.
It was a good leaf, man. It was a good leaf. I don't know why I ate that leaf, man.
These are
It was
great
fun.
leaves.
Instinct.
The reason why
Yeah,
I
it was
ate
definitely an instinct.
He's like, oh, I should eat this.
I mean, my dog walks around the yard and eats random plants. I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, it's a
Are
natural
you a
instinct to.
He's not a human though. He's not.
I'm not gonna lie, I walk around my yard, do the same thing. But I ID the plant first, make sure it's edible. Then I'm like, oh, I've got to try, see what it
I
tastes
knew
like.
it was cannabis. I knew it was an edible plant.
All right, someone take this whole panel and like impose our faces onto a flock of chickens just running around someone's backyard. 'Cause this is all I'm envisioning right now is everyone just pecking at shit,
Well, we have
trying
six.
it out.
Six
So-
of us right now. Oh, but Bake
Oh yeah,
makes
Baker
seven.
makes 7.
Our chickens are so funny. They crack me up every day, probably. They're just so goofy. They do goofy stuff.
Hmm
I would
They're
love that.
dude, they're just like miniature raptors. It's like these beings from back in time that just exist now, and they're so dumb, but they're so good at doing what they do, and it's like 5 things. But those 5 things are like so precise on, and everything else they just suck at. You know, they're just complete morons, and but they're just they're fantastic. You know, they
I always,
feed
yeah,
you
I
every
always
day.
wondered how the fuck they survived in the wild. I'm like, how do these things even survive?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Yes.
I really don't think they do.
Domesticated
Well, in Hawaii they do, but there's not a whole lot of natural predators in Hawaii, you know.
Yeah.
They evolved into different things, probably.
Like T-Rexes and other dinosaurs.
Yeah, they get stuck places. They like if they're separated from each other, they get like they can't figure out how to get to the other group if there's
Yeah.
in the way, even though they came from the other side, just walked around.
I had one stuck in my daughter's soccer net. These soccer net holes are like it's like a trellis net. They're like 6-inch hole or like I don't know 4 to 6 inch holes, right? This thing just tried to go through one way, got its neck stuck. Oh, I guess I can't get out now. I'm just gonna stay here and just be help. I'm just ready to die now. Help! Like
Sounds about
That's
right.
it, dude. They just freak out.
You're just like,
Start
how do I
yelling
get
at each
there?
other. Save me, save me, save me,
yeah.
save me.
But then honestly though, then you get some roosters though, and they're just like, oh, they're like they got these like evil parts to them where they just know what to do sometimes, and they're just like a little too smart. I don't know. They're kind of a different kind of being, and I think that's what it is. Like they're made to protect the flock and reproduce, and then the hens are just there to just pump out those eggs, you know. And it's just for so long they've just done the same thing, and they're just so precise at it. That's just all there is to it. There's very simple beings.
From my understanding, we've domesticated dogs and chickens relatively like the same amount of time as anything else, and it's been probably just as long, if not longer, than agriculture itself. I'm pretty sure we domesticated dogs before we started growing plants, you know.
Yeah, while we were still nomads, I believe we brought the dogs in, you know, before we kind of got common agricultural skills, if you will. But I don't know about chickens, man. I really don't know the history of where they come from, and like if we domesticated them, so to speak, or how that you know, if we just kind of bred them. Because I mean, dogs nowadays also are, you know, many of them are so far removed from where they originally came from. Like, is that just kind of like the same situation with chickens?
Yeah, chickens.
You see the variety of chickens we have, man. Like, it's insane. We have essentially show chickens now, you know, like
like
just like we
layers.
do with dogs.
Think about layers, like two eggs a day is like, you know, it's unnatural.
Yeah.
People are like searching the different colored eggs. That's big in the chicken world. You know, there's the purple eggs and there's the blue and
The
the green.
Easter eggers, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. We get like just a lot of pink eggs and like dark brown.
Do you have any white layers?
No.
No.
Are those only like the leghorns or whatever they're called?
I think so. We've got like one that's like super pale pink.
Checked.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these tiny ones, and it comes from the biggest one. You know.
Okay.
It's interesting.
I just got a dozen
It
eggs
looks-
gifted to me, and they were all brown except for two blue ones.
Nice.
Oh,
Easter eggers. Yeah, those are fun. They're in those typically, not all the time, but typically those like blue, green, whatever, like crazy egg colors come from these chickens that they just look wild. Like there's something different about them where they're like maybe their feathers are facing a different way. I forget what those are called, but they have gosh, Becca, help me out. Becca and Red, like
It's the Americana.
Crowns.
It's pretty
Well,
cool.
it comes from
we've
the
had
inside.
Americanas before. Say again, Spartan?
It comes from inside them. It's like part of their uvula, whatever the hell it is. It actually imparts that color. So that's what imparts the color on the egg.
But I think it has something to do with like maybe the internal and the external phenotypical expression are related or something because it's
Oh,
those
could be, yeah.
those types of
That's interesting. I wonder if there is a connection.
yeah those types of chickens are always just so much more like vibrant outside too. You know, like there's like I said, show chickens are not show chickens, but there's something different about them than just like your standard like
Within the same
Rhode
breed.
Island red.
Differently? Do they like walk around with like a different look?
They got a little extra swagger.
I have, you know, I don't.
Instead of the forward head bob, they do the sideways head bob.
Yeah, like they're listening to beats all day.
Hey, for Grolly, you
what's up, dude?
wanna know where academia thinks chickens came from?
I would love to.
So
'Cause they've
most
done more
scientists
research than I.
agree they're the Southeast Asian red jungle fowl. So these things came from jungles,
That makes sense.
which raptors probably lived
Right,
in.
right, for sure. I
Yes.
mean, for sure, they're just little dinosaurs, guys. I mean,
Well, for
I'm
sure,
not-
dinosaurs
it's,
are
it's
now all the
basically
birds.
Asian and India jungle fowl,
okay.
all mixing until you get what you get. There's
And
like
we've just bred them ever since. How long ago was
Yeah.
that though?
7 to 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
Domestication probably occurred.
It makes sense. Like they
I'd say
prefer
longer.
to sleep in a tree, so
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they can
I'm-
fly. And
If you've
and then
seen
they realize
rooster-
we're not gonna hurt them until we need to eat them, so they come down and eat the. Yeah.
Like for girl, you're saying if you've been around a rooster, especially with some big ass spurs on them, you know that okay, they're not so fucking defenseless.
Yeah. And yeah,
Especially if they're
I
sitting in
can't.
a tree.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched turkeys fly into trees every night. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like that's where
fucking
they.
crazy.
Yeah, well, and when they come down in the morning too, like you're sitting on your blind, like Red, I'm sure you see it. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, what is that? Like the sky is falling, and there's like 3 dozen, massive birds flying down from the pine trees. Yeah. Their pattern is so ridiculous. But one of the things I'm sure many of you guys saw it on my stories recently, maybe 2 or 3 days ago or something like that. I have never seen. I've for decades now of my life being around the lakes of Michigan have only seen swans chilling out in like reedy, like weedy, whatever parts of swamps and lakes and corners of the ponds and stuff like that. Every once in a while you go and by in a boat or a canoe and they start hissing at you, they get real pissy and flapping their wings or wherever. But never once have I seen them flying in a wedge like we do these other migrating birds. And the other day, I had the opportunity for hours, and I'm not kidding you, hours, watch these every 2-3 minutes to about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe, wedges of a dozen to 2 dozen birds flying right over my house all day long.
The Canadian geese are in serious move right now, man.
Are they?
Yeah, dude. They seem
It
to be.
says tundra swan migrate.
They're heading back north.
So I saw today, actually, I saw
Here.
maybe like 60, 70, close to 100 Canadian geese all sitting in the same pond. And I was kind of laughing about that because I'm like, man, like all these birds are moving, man. And I thought maybe it was because of the storm that
Early for
just
that?
came, but
I don't know what time of the year they come through Michigan, but they're on their way up, man. I feel like they just came down.
right.
They were like,
I think everyone, including the birds, thought this winter was going to be much harsher than it was.
I wonder how far down they go. What do you think? They go to like Kentucky?
Did
You
y'all
think they make
forget
it that far?
last weekend?
Baked. How far down do Canadian geese go? Do they go
Oh,
south?
I don't. They definitely don't go.
They got to go south of
They're
Michigan.
not like the butterflies
Let's
going
see,
down to
I'm
South
gonna Google
America,
it.
but
They're not
they're.
going to
How
Florida.
far?
And I'd be
do
curious about the swans
they-
too.
No.
You know,
Which swan? Now, which swan are you talking about? The
Holy
white-
crap! Geese will travel 2,000 to
giant
3,000 miles.
white swans that were honking at me as they're flying. I mean, just I don't know. I've never seen.
Were those
Bunch
flying
of swans
in a V
in
formation?
Concord.
The swans were in a V formation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were in
Oh, I
wedges.
thought you were talking about the geese.
No, man, these were swans. I couldn't believe it. It was all day long, dude. For the like over the course of like 6
Oh.
hours, I probably saw like
Yeah.
30 of them, and I wasn't even outside half the time. You know,
Probably doing the
like
same.
30 wedges, not 30.
Well,
swans.
that's what I was saying for girl. I googled it and it said there's tundra swan from up north, and they will fly in V formations to
Okay.
migrate. They migrate those tundra
Yeah.
swan.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, right here, look at this. It says, "Do Canadian geese migrate to Florida?" It says, "Nope. Florida is home to year-round resident Canadian geese. They do, which do not migrate."
It's
Like,
oh, that's too
Okay,
funny.
I
It's because they're not getting the tax breaks. You know what I mean? They just
Yeah.
stay down there. Like they're like, might
Yeah.
as well just stay here, guys. It's nice. Oh, it's so funny.
snowboarder or what is
Yeah,
it?
they're
Snowbirds. Snowbirds.
Snowbird. That snowbird
Snowbirds,
turns
yeah.
real. Yeah,
Yeah.
they migrated and stayed.
It's stayed
They don't
sunburned.
until they die.
What do you go back? Like, what?
Yeah, that was a long trip, guys. You might as well just
Where?
Go back to the wasteland of cold.
just watch out for the alligators.
Above
Yeah.
Michigan? What?
I don't know, man. I saw a swan the other day, and it was huge. So it might be able to fight a gator. Especially if you had a couple of them.
They're really big.
And
A
I know
couple
that.
of them.
Did you know that a swan can break a grown man's like
arm?
leg?
Yeah,
No leg.
well, yeah, I
Leg's
believe it.
harder to break than an arm.
Like,
for
like
sure.
hitting them with their head, or
No,
No,
the wings.
like their
they
wing
just-
will. They literally have
They
enough to.
flog you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
until you drown. They
Yeah, dude.
drown
I
people
found
like
that out, and it took a new perspective. I'd still fight one if I had to.
Well, I mean,
But-
if you have to, you have to. But you know,
All
But
right.
you kick him in the face. That's what
Not-
you gotta do. You gotta
That's
kick him in
grab
the
by
Well,
the
face.
neck
you
and break it, dude,
get
like,
that
yeah.
neck and you ring it.
What
Nah,
about?
you gotta get too close to those wings, man. You gotta watch out for
Wings.
the
No, you got your legs, and you got your neck, and you keep the wings away from you.
They got a larger
Wow.
wingspan than that. I mean, I know you're a big guy, dude, but you got to spread them a little bit wider.
You just gotta get the shoulder of the wing so it can't articulate.
Articulate.
Dude, this is swan jujitsu. You've never taken swan jujitsu?
Swan jitsu?
None of you? Oh Lord, y'all are missing
No,
out.
I'm more of a goat yoga type.
Ever
of
since
guy.
I knew they could break a grown man's leg, I started taking swan defense classes, and
I
I've
started
been better
taking-
for it.
man.
So
Especially
I
since you're so
recommend
close to a
it.
lake. You're close to a lake, so you're gonna see a lot of swans. You gotta be
Exactly. You
careful.
never know when they just come in, come out of
Tell them to stop
nowhere.
looking at
Quack,
me.
quack. And you're just like, nope, not today. That's my life. It's hard.
Always preparing.
Tired of
Somebody's
being
got to do it.
There's a little area I drive through. It's called Concord in Michigan, and there's two
Yeah.
beautiful swans right there in that nice little lake-ish pond kind of area every day. It's beautiful. And they're nice. They don't leave. They're not. It doesn't look like they're
Don't
fighting.
get too close to them.
Exactly.
They're gonna be nice
Yeah.
then. I'm telling you. They're worse than the Canadian geese. Canadian geese I've seen chase children, but swans will
Yeah, they're-
literally drown your
Canadian-
ass.
Canadian geese are assholes.
I stay back from wildlife, you know.
I like the dad videos where they kind of like, yeah, go see what that goose is about. Go see what that's. And the kid like walks along the lake line, creeping, and then finally the geese like, fuck this, and chase them. That shit's hilarious.
Yeah, we'll get you.
Yeah.
He will get you.
Easy,
don't
easy
want-
way to teach a kid. Don't get too close to the swan.
Dr. Leave It Alone says, I want a peacock in chat. And I gotta
Oh,
say,
until he scratches the shit out of your truck up. Yeah.
dude,
Oh my God.
I am almost certain I have wild peacocks where I live because
About that.
every maybe twice a year I see them running through not the fields but the
Have you
the
actually
tall
seen
weeds by the woods and stuff. They're never out in the open, but you just see them fucking
the
just
tall head popping up?
falling. No, they're like roadrunner. They're like running, dude. They're going somewhere. But the first time I saw it, I'm like, that's got to be someone's pet or something, because there's no way I just saw a wild peacock.
Probably running away from the chupacabra. That's probably
Oh God! Well, John, don't tell me I got chupacabra in my area too.
They're coming.
That's what's fucking with your chickens at night.
Could
man.
have one, man.
This says that
thought it was.
peacocks are not native to Michigan, so you shouldn't
Not
be seeing
native.
peacocks.
Well,
No,
they're
there's
here.
People, no, people bring them. People bring them as pets, and then they
Yeah.
fucking let them go free.
Where I
And
grew
they
up.
jump up on your
But
fucking car hood.
If they're
and
not
try to-
native, they might not be able to
Scratch the
live. I
fuck
feel
out of
like.
it.
Specific, Spartan.
You know that, but they're good. They're good alarm animals.
I'll
No,
tell you
no.
where there's a lot
They're
of
on your
Yeah, those-
side.
just they might not
Yeah,
be native, but
eat
they're
'em.
still running around and breeding.
Yeah, for sure.
That's in Florida for sure. At
Well,
least
in Michigan
Oh, yeah,
too.
down there, yeah, but
they're all over. And I mean, I could just see them coming up on freight. You know what I mean? And it's just
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I heard the black bears are really starting to move down on the lower peninsula.
black bears have always been down here.
I was gonna say
They
they've
make
been
it
here all
down as
day.
far as like St. Clair County, like
Oh.
regularly, but I'm hearing they're like just kind of like hanging out now down here. They're not like just coming down and like migrating or looking for food like these young males looking for food. They're like actually like moving down here.
Lovely.
Particularly West Michigan, I assume, because of all like the national forests and all the lands.
Usually I
and
only
everything.
They'll just open up the bear hunts more. They've got it really super
Mhm.
restricted as it is now. You gotta be on a waiting list. So
Yeah.
just open that shit up.
like Traverse City, you got to keep all of your trash and shit inside of lock boxes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Anywhere north of like Gaylord, basically.
Definitely. Keep your shit up.
Bear poles and metal lock boxes for your trash.
Let's see here. If you're hiking, I would say stay on trails. Avoid hills. Hillsides is where you're gonna find dens. Man, they're gonna be dug out inside of that fucker.
Avoid hills when you're hiking.
And,
Flatland only.
well, like river rollways, things like that. Like that's my biggest.
Nature. Do not go outside.
I went down to the rollway one time. I was hunting and there was a bunch of snow and it was really pretty, man. And I was at the top of the Asable rollway and I'm looking down a couple hundred feet down to the river and I'm like, oh, this is fucking cool. There's a set of stairs. I'm going to go walk down to the river. And I went and I walked all the fucking way down to the river. And it took me a while to get down there. And then I realized I'm down there and I'm taking it all in and there's nobody, dude. It's me. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere, the forest, and like I'm looking at all this hillside and I'm just going, wow, there's an awful lot of potential for bear dens on this hillside. And I'm going, it's just me sitting down and it started fucking thinking too much, you know what I mean? And I started going,
Those thoughts creep in.
it's gonna take me a long ass time to get back up these fucking stairs. There's 1,000 fucking stairs, dude. I started going back up the stairs, dude. I stopped taking it in, dude. I started thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking see a bear. Bears just
How many steps did you run up before you like
Yeah,
just had to realize you're out of breath?
no, I went real slow. I went real
Oh,
fucking
okay.
stairs. I'm going slow and I'm looking around. I stop and I look and I fucking make sure there's nothing fucking walking up after me or nothing. Because I'm thinking that dude, river, hillside, all
Dude,
the
this
fuck-
is like when you're running out of your parents' basement as a kid and it's dark and you think the monsters are down there, but the stairs never end and it just keeps going.
It was probably an afternoon hunt, so it was slowly getting dark anyways, and it was getting eerie. Fuck, dude.
We're lucky we didn't see any in the Smoky Mountains. We were in some pretty.
We saw a bear in the Smoky Mountains. We were in
Hiking.
our car.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
We hiked in
were
like
our
some
car.
pretty back areas and I didn't see any bears.
And I failed to grab any bear spray or anything either. So
Every time I've been down there, including like 3 months ago, I've seen them within 200 feet of where I was staying both times.
They
I'm
come
sure
onto our cabin porch all the time.
Yeah, dude.
Like enough
they'll
that
just
I've remembered
check out the
several
grill,
occasions.
look in your trash can, like
Yeah, we'll just go inside.
yeah. If you got your door open, they'll come right in.
Oh yeah, we shut that, but we looked through the window.
Smokies had a rule where you had to keep all your food inside your tent and everything, or
No, in your car.
inside your car.
Yeah.
Nothing in like we left our camp stove like open, and I think we left like a pot on it or something like that. And the Rangers came through and gave us a warning.
Mhm.
Yeah, left us a nice little yellow sticker on our picnic table.
Oh, a physical warning, not even verbal. Wow.
They
Yeah, we
fucking-
left. It was hot.
left
It was
and
like a
went
cast
hiking
iron
and-
pot.
Yeah, it was a cast iron pot that we left sitting out, but it had like bacon grease and shit in it.
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that'll get them right. They'll smell that from miles away.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't know why we didn't even think of it.
Mm.
But
You want bears? That's how you get bears.
You're not there. You know what I mean? It's.
But I'm
yeah,
thinking
free
about it.
pick-
Me around.
We had,
Eight degrees.
we had a soft top truck with all of our food in it. Dude, I was gonna wake up to our truck
Maybe we should have
mangled.
gotten a hard top.
That's what bear poles are for. You just throw it up in the trees, guys.
Conversation on how you get one of those,
Just hang your shit up in the trees.
but
Good shit.
well,
They
well, that's a wrapping late sesh up.
We do anything for the weekend? You guys?
we got a weekend bake.
Check us out,
Weekend
Red,
bake.
Becca, and myself at the Craft Affair on Sunday in Lansing, Michigan at the Fledge. We'll have all the
Edge.
goodness and deliciousness, and I hope to see everyone there. Thank you guys for a great show.
All right, see ya.